Back to the upside we go here for the not only the NASDAQ and tech stocks right across the board, but the S&P and Dow both in positive territory to kick things off here this morning. Led by, a huge move for Netflix this morning, up better part of 15%. We did test above 1,000. Yeah, that was Oracle there having quite the morning here as well. 10% right now for ORCL on this AI announcement from President Trump. Coming after things shut down yesterday. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit this morning. Not much on the economic calendar today in the way of anything significant. We do have Canadian PPI just coming through here, 4.1% on the year-over-year number versus 2.4. I was reading yesterday they revised that CPI, or they said the GST holiday that we got made up for a better part of a full percent, or it would have been back to about 2.5%. If you minus that from it. So it ended up being 1.8 or 1.9.
Interesting.
On the year-over-year number. But otherwise, as I mentioned, not a heck of a lot as far as economic data this morning, but a ton of headlines to touch on this morning. Sam Altman was visiting President Trump at the White House yesterday. I mean, there wasn't much. I didn't hear anything about this ahead of time, but
Nope.
a $500 billion investment going into AI and AI infrastructure. Including SoftBank, Oracle, Larry Ellison was there. Sam Altman was there for this announcement as well. So big boost for Oracle and Netflix. Wow, 15% hugging 1,000 right now, trying to hold on to it.
Unbelievable move for Netflix yesterday. I was at the gym. I look at my phone. Oh, how did Netflix do, Brendo? Oh, it's at $1,000.
Monstrous.
Yeah. Ridiculous move. Obviously, we'll talk about that. Great numbers all around. Build on Stargate as well. Very deep dive into that. A lot of implications going on here, especially with the relationship between Microsoft and OpenAI. It's changing. It's evolving before our eyes. Lots to talk about, guys. Bitcoin in focus. Amazon getting the nod today from Cantor Fitzgerald. UAL up 5%. Already it's up 120%, I think, in the past year. And Procter Gamble reported they did well.
Yeah, monster report for UAL as well. I mean, we've been talking about these airlines for it seems like months now. They're so strong. The paid subs added number for Netflix, just absolutely insane. A double, essentially. Was expecting 9, they get 18. So, I mean, there's so much to dive into here as far as Netflix is concerned. There's a long list of analyst notes on this as well. Price targets all over the place, $12.50 up to, I think, $1,500 was the highest I saw this morning. At some point, you would expect this thing to maybe catch a split. So lots to discuss here, guys, as we get going on a Wednesday. It's already Wednesday, too.
Right. Welcome, everybody. It is Hump Day. It's Wednesday. Just very quickly in the chat, someone was asking, why is HUSA dumping HUSA with a $4 million offering? It looks like here.
Never.
So 4.4 million.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, like I for one am shocked. It's stock which rallies almost 100% yesterday. At one point, they drop an offering the next day. But that's what happens in small cap land. What doesn't happen in the realm of big cap, and especially tech. Netflix, he said, teetering on that 1,000. There's a host of names on that Stargate thing that are going nuts. So whether it's, Oracle's doing great. ARM is up big. Obviously, you would have seen Dell run yesterday. So it was a heck of a lot to watch in here today. Nvidia is gapped up 3%. Amazon is 60 cents from an all-time high. The quantum names are moving. Like Rigetti's up 4 points. QBTS is making a pretty good run so far this morning. So yeah, you cannot complain about it whatsoever. I'm just happy to have sold Disney last year to buy Netflix because one of these things is not like the other.
No, Netflix has been a monster. We've loved Netflix. Now it's right here at $1,000. What a great call there for anybody that was buying this name. We got some super chats yesterday, talked about it. We got one that's at $1,000. I was like, I don't know about that, but we really liked the fact that how it was setting up. I spent a couple minutes yesterday discussing why I liked it and why I thought that this was, a good possibility. And it was expected to get 9%. We got 14, 15%. So this play probably does continue. It's going to be tough to play it when the spread is so wide. Right now it's 75 cents. But, you're going to look for it. I think if you want to trade it, you just trade less shares. We mentioned Amazon going to be near all-time highs of 233. So that's going to come into play right here as well. Again, that's not even up that much. I mean, we could get really going. You're already up 1+% right now on the NASDAQ. We are ready to go. And I came in here and I said to all these guys, like, this market's about to get stupid. I think a lot of these tech names are going to pull Netflix's and buy back shares, and like Netflix didn't even announce a split. Like, so that stock has $2,000 in its sight for sure.
Again,
which is a double from here.
Randy.
What's up, Randy? Pretty cold up in your neck of the woods, huh, Randy? We're going. Did you see all the snow in Florida and everything? There's people.
Yeah, all
never
down
even
south
seen things like that before, and
it's getting real.
yeah, Louisiana and everything, and
Got to.
Sorry about that.
they're like shutting schools down and everything like that. They got like a couple inches of snow. I know. They're saying stay off the roads and the buses and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, lots of stuff happening there, but yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, welcome to our live.
Fix my microphone up.
Minus 27 with the wind chill today.
It's our weather territory.
That's all right. No
Then it gets
problem.
better on the weekend though.
Yeah, I know. Weekend's nice. Well,
Again?
no.
Shorts?
No.
My brother-in-law probably wearing his shorts.
No, you cannot wear shorts in this. I'll see people up here, like I'll see people in shorts when it's like a couple, like maybe like 0, a couple of degrees under, but you know, when it's like minus double digits, that's where most people are reasonably draw the line.
I don't know what it was Sunday morning, but we dropped our kid off to go snowboarding, and some guy was there in his shorts. I mean, it was pretty. Oh, Sunday morning was cold. Actually, it was minus
cold.
10. Yeah, that's when it sort of started. So yeah.
I'm glad you go snowboarding because like we couldn't like tobogganing our hill was not quality.
Oh no, he goes up
like you gotta you have to go up north.
Least,
we couldn't do anything.
through Barrie there. I would love a coffee, Randy.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so yeah, VST is going there. I see some people talking about it in the chat. That's Adara has been posting about that in the chat as well. Another one of those plays, VST. We were talking about this yesterday, actually. Vistra, part of this whole rally up here with the AI
Got a power
buzz. Another 5% there today, and starting to go higher. You know, well played off the 50-period moving average. There's so many names, and I was going over this on the after show yesterday. You know, like XLI there, the industrials, like Caterpillar is straight up $50. You know, boom, like John Deere, like some of these names that you don't have to just be sitting in. I mean, it's nice to be sitting in Nvidia and Tesla and all that kind of stuff when these moves are happening, or Oracle. But, you know, there's other spots. John Deere, I mean, this isn't a week, man. 408 to 460. You know, and then you get names like Oracle, like, well, you know, we'll talk about these as well, that are getting these daily, like, huge move opportunity. Like, it's just some of the value that's being added to these names is ridiculous. And I think it's going to get even more. Like, I bought Intel. I was looking at the account. I'm up 11% right here, and just bought this name. You know, and it's like 11% is not even that much because I didn't get the best price. But all the way up here, $22, flat on the day. Like, what happens if a story gets solidified over here about a buyout or some sort of a deal now? I don't know. Like, we didn't expect 10% from Oracle. This thing could go 20, 30, 40% if there's any sort of a announcement. Like, look at ARM today as well, right? I mean, I really like what ARM's doing today, up to 165. And we were talking about this name down at 120. Yeah. I was going to say, wasn't it just weeks ago that we were down here in the 120s? Like, that's not an insignificant move.
It's just another case of that old DCA, dollar cost average.
Yeah, every month you can buy shares.
I've been saying, like for ARM, I have no clue how to, like, valuating that stock from a PE basis. You just got to be like, you just want to be in it. So I was just like, who cares? Just going to buy that thing every single quarter until I have what I consider to be a full position. But the other one is, you mentioned, like Deere and Caterpillar, like that's what's so great about the market right now, is you can get, like, you know, you don't have to be all in tech. You take a shot in an Nvidia, you're taking a shot in, I don't know, like maybe you're in some quantum name, maybe you're in like a VST, whatever that's running that you think is a little bit frothy. No, but you can be in a more stable stock. Like, it was just last week on Caterpillar when it was at the 200-period moving average. This just happened. Nvidia was just at the 50-period moving average yesterday. You know, and these stocks are going back into their highs. So if it's a good stock, buy it on that 50. I think it gives you a little bit more confidence. And then another one 2 days ago was at the 50-period moving average, or 3 days ago, depending on how you want to count it here, was Amazon, and now that's right back at the high. But the 200-period moving average on most of these things, like that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be buying. And I'm looking back. Amazon in particular, I'm looking back. It's great off the 200-period moving average, but I feel like there was an obvious buy when it started holding the 50-period as well, back at like 185. So, it's a good time to be in the market. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, there was one stock that looked like it could be a possible short today, and for me, anyways, and it's Mara, because if Bitcoin pulls off any highs and there's resistance on Bitcoin, then usually there's a short in the mining companies. But outside of that, everything looks pretty strong.
Microsoft, another one here, just taking out day highs, up 2% here now. Also, I mean, we mentioned off the top there, the deal with OpenAI going to change a little bit. They do retain the rights to offer the API exclusively for ChatGPT and from OpenAI. But big move after the close here for Microsoft. We get all the way up to 440. That did trade. Here we go, 437 coming into play already.
This is really interesting what's happening here between OpenAI and Microsoft. So Microsoft's gotten this new individual, their head of AI, goes by the name of Mustafa Suleyman. And him and Sam Altman don't like each other. And they've made that very clear. And now you can kind of see the relationship changing a little bit between Microsoft and OpenAI. Specifically, it was a podcast that Satya Nadella won on in the summer where he called OpenAI a competitor, and that's exactly how he's been treating them since that time. So they still retain, I'm talking about Microsoft, they still retain a right of first refusal for OpenAI and any cloud service that they require for their services, but they are obviously looking to diversify with that new move with Oracle yesterday, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Initially, obviously, Microsoft invested $1 billion in OpenAI back in 2019, really helping propel them forward.
Yeah, good to see. I mean, Microsoft's kind of been chopping around here for a period of time. And oh yeah, Nvidia benefiting from this as well, going to supply the chips for this entire ordeal. $500 billion investment into AI. Here comes day highs right now, guys. They're on the way for Nvidia.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm still looking at ARM. I have ARM on the sticky note here as a trade opportunity, and I also do have Nvidia. I mean, I just think, I said also, I was like, Nvidia is going to be a $200 stock after earnings. That's what I'm looking at right now. I think if you break this high, and then, whoa, yeah, that's right. Our charts still have that split issue. But there it is. If you break this high, when you break this high next week, maybe tomorrow, who knows? Then what's next for them? And then they put out the quarter, that might surprise people. I mean, that would be a shock because of how highly the expectations are on Nvidia. But, it probably is the next one to go here. We talked about Amazon being at highs. ARMS looks like it wants to go. ARMS is like 180. But this is gathering some steam. And I mean, just like Caterpillar was down and out a little bit there, Nvidia had bounced nicely off this 125, 130 area. And now you get 3% just on it just catching basically shrapnel of stories. Anything that's going to be AI related, there's going to be something here. And it's just, you can look at AMD, SMH, there's going to be so many things to trade. But for me, I just wrote down again, this 200-period moving average on the 1 minute chart is what I want to look at. Forget, I'm going to edit all these. These wicks don't mean anything. It's down into here, 143. I wrote down 143.50, figuring that's probably where we'll be in and around once we open up. But that's a level that I like. So we'll see if we get some dip buy opportunities. I mean, yesterday, we told you the worst stock of the day was buying that Tesla dip at the open, and eventually it caught that bid. So let's just see if Nvidia dips at all. I mean, the market's up 1% right now. I'm not sure Nvidia is going to dip whatsoever. But if it does, I want to be there to try to pick it up. So let's try to follow that trend. It might eventually be 144. I'm not playing the pre-market breakdown or up just because of where the market's just a little hot right now. Let's just wind up waiting to figure out what happens. We'll wait to see those imbalances. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for Nvidia. For ARM, and again, we'll be talking about all these because they're all on the watch list as well. But ARM's the same story for me. if we dip down into this 160 to 162 area, that's a spot that I think we can start to like here with ARM, as we'll try to see about some support from a key 160 level. So I like ARM long 160. I like Nvidia long in that 143 area if we're lucky enough to get something down there. So those are the two plays that I'm looking at, and I'm not sure. Again, yesterday was a good day, but we still had a huge opportunity to buy. Here's our coffee from Randy. Huge opportunity to buy some of those dips.
Did you do this?
So it was a bear. When I started, it was a bear before. So.
Usually I have the other guy on mine because this, like, whatever, it doesn't really matter. But I actually like Oracle. I mean, I like Nvidia. Nvidia was good. Nvidia had a great day yesterday. Obviously Oracle and ARM are up more than Nvidia, but I think you still go back into the well. I was going to mention something about Microsoft because now all of a sudden, it's only Apple. You know, like every other Mag 7 name has now gotten off the schneid, reclaimed the 50-period moving average, and now trending back up toward the highs, with the exception of Apple, because Microsoft was in that group of, well, it was in a two-man group of essentially lagging. Google got back up to the top and tested a 200 high. Amazon's right there right now. Everybody's already seen Nvidia. Okay, obviously Tesla's kind of doing its own thing, but Tesla had an early run to the high, and sometimes you don't necessarily group it the same. But yeah, Microsoft's starting to look a little bit better. I don't know that it's the trade today. I don't know. I mean, what have we done? 2.5 million shares over on Oracle, which is 10 times the volume of Microsoft. So I just sort of feel like if you're playing these AI-related names, like you got to know what moved the most and what's doing the most volume, relative volume. Oracle, ARM, obviously Nvidia is always going to be a play in there. I don't think you can't go wrong looking at maybe like a Dell, but these data center names, these cloud names, they should all be in play today. It's like you want something on your watch list that's adjacent to them at least. I mean, even Micron is moving on this as well. Ooh, we just got a super chat in here. So thank you very much, Mar K. If people take Netflix profit early, should I put? So you're thinking, oh, you just want to sell if people take profit? That's always a tricky game. Like, you have to have a reason to do so. You know, like sometimes people will look at a gap up trade and say, if it breaks the pre-market low, like where would how much of a move does it have to like prior support? Well, I mean, the issue over here is the prior high is like $940. So, I mean, if it loses the bid at the open and goes into one of those like Tesla tanks, I'd be sitting around there, waiting for a 940 or a 950 myself. But, oh yeah, getting some dark pool looks like you just said there. But for myself on Netflix, I actually don't think I'll be trading Netflix today unless it does a hold of the pre-market low and then try a continuation play. I think on earnings today, almost like UAL actually almost looks a little more intriguing to me as a strict earnings setup. Just it has some more room to the top instead of being very far gone over it. And it's just a better price to trade.
All right, a few other names moving around here on earnings as well, worth a note. Halliburton, one of those downside this morning. Not a lot of volume behind this, but they reported. J&J, another one that came through with earnings. The forecast was an issue here. So 150 gets rejected. We're right back to the levels from the beginning of last week here. 144 coming into play for Johnson & Johnson. I saw we're going to get PG as well coming up later in the week. GM had a recall. So there was a bit of a down move there for GM in the pre-market. 2,890 Chevy Equinox EVs being recalled. Nowhere near the hundreds of thousands of Teslas that typically get recalled for a software update. But GM had a pretty good day yesterday.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Bouncing off that 51, Breno, coming into that area of technical resistance that we've been experiencing here, Fabian, for a while, since basically in the end of December, that 54, 55 really hasn't been broken. Ford, I should mention today, caught another downgrade. I'm sure Darryl will talk about it at the green screen shortly. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on these automakers as well. The EV tax credit are not really going to affect GM and Ford all that much because they don't sell too many EVs, but we'll definitely keep an eye out on Tesla and some of these other automakers as well because it could move the needle for them, Breno. $7,500, not a small amount to add on to the price of a car.
Definitely. Definitely. Here's PG, as I mentioned, to the upside. So one down, J&J, PG higher here, 3%. Again, not a lot of volume behind either of these, but worth a note. A few other earnings names today.
Yeah, man, Ford stock looks real bad. Looks really
Ford, oh, come on.
I was gonna say it looks really bad here because look, you just pulled. Remember we were talking about the 50 period on the daily here. Like Ford just pulled into it and then rejected, and then you got this going on. On any other day, this might slip in. Like this would usually like slip in. Oh, rejection of the 50 period. Just look for a continuation short, maybe back into prior support. Like that's. It seems like it would make some sense on Ford. I just don't know if that's going to be the thing to watch today. Too much volatility, too much action elsewhere. Like I have nothing against Procter whatsoever, and it is a good-sized move up. But if you kind of look at what's been going on here with PG, it looks to me like you're running right into some overhead resistance. Like I said, UAL is it's like a blue sky setup. Right, like you're breaking into new price areas. You're above all the prior highs. The same thing with Netflix. With Procter, you're essentially running into where this trend came back to the downside, like 168 to 170, the 200 and the 50 period. Both those moving averages are right here overhead on Procter, and it's not usually the kind of stock that's going to put in a 5 to 10% day. Not impossible, but that's an earnings name that I don't know if I would want to chase. I said I was very much more likely to have traded Procter today if it had been very bad. And that's because you would have had a chance to break down under a major support level at 158. Instead, you're kind of sitting in a price level that's not as enticing to trade for a day trader.
I mean, I like all those stocks. I think that there's a spot to try to get a little bit of yield in everybody's portfolio. I mean, we talked about some of the energy names that are a great look as well. We can always go over to some different ETFs that are around. I'm still looking at the levels for ARM, but J&J. We're gonna go through some upgrades and downgrades again. I mean, some of these names, it's like what's the next, right? There's a lot of these healthcare names that have gotten really beat up recently, and again, part of the struggles goes with what's going to be happening with China. What are some of these tariffs going to look like? A lot of these products are being sold. Obviously, they're in China and made in China. It's just there's still a lot to come from all this. I just wonder, again, to start some positions. Like the reason why I call up J&J is because I've been looking at this. This is November of 23. And then you based out there in the summertime, and then right now you had that move up to the 50 period, and now the fail back. So, I mean, we never like to be back into these levels, but just for a name, if you're, AbbVie, there's going to be a bunch. We've been talking about XBI in my own portfolio, which is, we're still down on this name. And this is another one here that's just been getting hit. IBB. I mean, we had a little bit of a recovery, but, as some of these names get more and more beat up, I just wonder if there's going to be some kind of rotation back in. Palantir's trying to move. Intel's trying to move. So, a lot of these tech names are going. Nvidia's at 146. So, all right, lots of stuff happening. No positions yet for us. I don't know if we're going over to Adara or what story. Yes.
Netflix here. We have a Rosenblatt upgrade, just one of many for this stock, which had that really great move after earnings here. So Netflix, tons of analysts bullish, though it is worth noting they actually did miss estimates across the board with their Q1 2025 guidance. Charles Schwab here after the earnings yesterday getting an upgrade from Wells Fargo. Same deal with 3M, which also reported yesterday morning. Darden here getting an upgrade from Bernstein. Darden Restaurants here, DRI actually getting the second upgrade I've seen in this one in the last few days. So keep an eye on DRI here. On the downgrade side of things, Ford has been discussed with this Barclays downgrade, $11 price target. Yum Brands getting a downgrade from Bernstein. Roth MKM here, downgrading Reddit, but massively hiking its price target here from 116 to 195. And last but not least, Reuters getting downgraded by Barclays. No price target, guys. Back to you.
How does that one work? I mean, see, this is where you need to read what that analyst is thinking with Reddit.
But still,
okay, like you're going
in your head,
massively downgrade that, and then the price target goes up. That was 70% because 116 to that's a huge target increase. That being said, it's also at that price already. So
yeah,
I think
those are irrelevant.
Like I get what they're saying. Reddit has been an absolute rocket ship, and It's going to get really interesting because at Davos, you're hearing Goldman saying deal making's coming back and IPOs are coming back, and we're going to get Discord this year. It'll be interesting to see. Like you'll want to know what's been going on with Reddit when Discord comes out. Obviously, I think that goes without saying. So it's kind of at an important inflection point here. Wish the volume was better on a daily basis here for Reddit, because a lot of times you might see something like this where you get like a failed high break. I mean, the downgrade is what it is. Like it doesn't necessarily move things much, but it's the kind of trade where if it tries to push and fails the high at the open as well, that's usually a pretty good scalp into the low. But volume's pretty low on Reddit. I think this is going to be probably the kind of stock that you can start to look at those major moving. I mean, the 200 period is going to be pretty irrelevant because it's gone up so much. But the 50 period on pullbacks on Reddit, I think you're going to want to look at in the coming days and weeks.
So I saw Rogers on there. Rogers is RCI. This is just a telecommunications company here in Canada. You could see this is getting We had Raheem on here talking about TELUS, which is TU, I think. And that's been getting killed as well. I mean, look at how bad some of these telecoms are here. TELUS, we'll talk to maybe Raheem next time he's on here about this. But there it is, TELUS as well, that 14. This is the problem when you start to chase yield, because you get trapped. You look at it and you say, oh, well, up here, the dividend is 5% or 6%. It looks pretty good. Then the next thing you know, it's you lose 30% on the equity. But anyways, some issues there. So it's nice to see not nice to see, but RCI on the downside and finally downgraded. I have to zoom out to find some levels there, but that's kind of sucky. Just a lot of people into Rogers. I probably have some Rogers shares. I know I do. I don't even look at them. $31. This is like news to me that this is going down this much. $31, well underneath everything, man. So Canada seems to be a little bit in problem spot there with the telecoms, and we can check out some Canadian banks at some point as well. All right, so that's it. Rogers going.
Our banks are good.
Yeah, most of the banks are starting to go back up to the upside, which is pretty good there. All right, so let's go back over to the desk and figure out, no guests today, but we have our watches to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Just side note, Raheem may join a little bit later on this morning. Raheem's out in Vancouver this week, so he may join via Zoom coming up a little bit later on, because it's 5:30 in the morning, or I guess almost 6 o'clock. Here's Palantir as well, 2.25% here for PLTR, 74.75 coming into play. Another one that moved after the close on this AI news last night. So obviously a fan favorite, worth keeping an eye on here. Not a heck of a lot of volume this morning, though.
Yeah, not a bad look at all, Brando. That good $65 defend when we dipped down a few days ago, I believe, in the middle part of the month. Coming back into that $75 area, obviously with the all-time highs at around 85. Good move up. We'll have to see what kind of tailwind this one's can catch. A lot of good new contracts with the incoming administration for new technologies, specifically with the military. What I was showing you off camera yesterday, a bunch of new types of drones that are making their way, sadly, into the war in Eastern Europe, and I think that they're well positioned, as well as with some others, to take advantage of some countermeasures for that.
That's Anduril.
Anduril, exactly.
Company coming along too. Another one that
Palmer Luckey.
Yeah, there's a lot of people hinting at the fact that they might actually take that public this year at some point. So one to look forward to. Rigetti up this morning 3%. So Quantum getting a nice boost. Huge day yesterday for Rigetti. Got back to $14. We're back above that this morning, trying to hold on a bit of a pullback right now. Just going through a list of a few other things moving around here in the pre-market. BLBX is one of those. RGTI, as we saw, QBTS, another one. So a lot of things to keep an eye on here that are running around.
Absolutely. The quantum names were very strong yesterday. We traded them on the How to Trade show during the midday. We'll keep an eye on them. Rigetti and as well as some others, QBTS, QUBT, really got hit hard after Jensen Huang basically said 15, 30 years, maybe quantum becomes viable. Then Mark Zuckerberg went on Joe Rogan, kind of echoed that 15, 20 years. Recovering a little bit, still not at the highs, though.
Oh, Mark.
Yeah, it was funny.
Good old Zuck.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know here this morning. Sharif will have a look at the market.
60.84, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES March contract, well above that level already taking out 6,100 handily here. We're at the high right now, 61.18. So we're going to use 6,100 as support. If we continue moving up, we're looking at that 50 point as resistance.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description of this video. Top link in the description will get you to the sign up page for the watch list. Absolutely free every single day. If you haven't done so, go grab that. Why not? Has everything you need to know in the pre-market on it, what's moving around and why. And then you come join us at 8:30 and we'll give you some ideas here. Netflix, the top of the list here this morning. Yeah, huge numbers. The subscriber number just blew my mind when that came out last night. Almost a double on that. 850 was the brief low down here. We're at 1,000 this morning.
I mean, I don't know where to start here. The 19 million new subs that they added, Brenda, or the 302 million that they have globally now. Oh, maybe they're raising prices in jurisdictions. Yes, they are. Canada, US, Portugal, Argentina, all going to see price increases. So adding to gross margins there. In terms of how they did on the quarter, it was a beat all around. Q4, they beat $4.27 per share for earnings for EPS. Revenue, a big beat, $10.2 billion. That's a 16% year-over-year increase, driven by hit shows like Squid Games, Wednesday, Stranger Things. They also got live events. Obviously, we know about that with the Tyson, Jake Paul, and the NFL now. They've thrown their hat in the ring there with the Christmas game getting about 30 million viewers.
That's going to be the big one, I think, going forward, with the subscriber number. I checked this morning, it was $7.99. So the ad-supported tier here in Canada goes from $6.99 to $7.99 just to watch commercials. So they're double dipping right across the board from that standpoint. What do we do here, guys? 1,000, definitely the thing here.
Raising prices is great when people will just pay more. But the other thing that around here, we also appreciate the super chat. So before we get into this, and we'll get right into Netflix, I want to thank Mark again. Any plays on SoftBank with the mega deal. So for us, we can, it's available on the OTC markets. So you can look at it as SFTYB, but the volume probably not that great. It just seems like this is a pretty standard gap and go, but on the OTC, I don't know how much volume it does. I've never looked at it on the OTC. That's the only avenue for us to trade it, so I won't be trading it, but it's kind of in the middle of a no man's land on the daily chart for SoftBank. There's plenty of other names adjacent to these deals that I think look a little bit better. And then the second super chat, Phobius, we're going to get to Oracle next. So Phobius revealed, we'll get to Oracle. That's the next topic for sure. As far as Netflix goes, I think the anchor at this 100, hopefully it'll be 100 soon because they'd actually do a split and then we can actually talk about $100 instead of $1,000. But whatever, you shift to zero and it is what it is. You essentially got there 4:30, right after things came out. You got to $9.90, right? So now you've got this as your pre-market sort of support level if we're going to lose the $1,000 level. I just fear if you lose this bid, the prior high is $940. That's only 5%, from here, which is pretty reasonable. So if it loses this bid, I think you're really, really waiting for a big mean reversion. Ideally, on any gap up like this, you want I just hold the low and then try to go. So it's the only thing I would look for. Unfortunately, I just think UAL it's just a more reasonable trade, price-wise, in terms of where it's trading. Much more likely for me to actually trade UAL than Netflix here. But I love the stock. I'm not selling any. I think you got to hold it. I love the fact that they can raise prices, and I just keep buying without even not buying. I keep paying without even looking.
Yeah, no, we talked about this yesterday. I mean, we said when people asked, the opinion of where I thought this was going to go. Yeah, I mean, $1,000 is huge. I think you can even split 20 to 1, get to $50, and get right back to 100 in a couple of months after that again. So I think, like I was saying, I think this name could double from here. It's just people will continue to pay. The content that it's still probably the best deal, entertainment-wise. There's there's so much content. And even as Sharif had mentioned there, a lot of people like to binge watch things. It's just like, it gets out of control. They'll drop a series and boom. I was reading yesterday, they had, I think it was something like 700,000 subscribers or something in the days leading up to the Jake Paul fight, where they like average between like 60 to 70,000. It was just, NFL is going to be a huge thing for them. I just really don't see any reason why Netflix fails moving forward, other than the fact that, I mean, if people stop support, I mean, the ad-supported tier is well, like, it's not a new story, and they doubled their subscribers. So I just, I really like the potential here. And I think once you're in the system, it's like Apple. Once you're in the ecosystem, you're hooked there. And I just don't know many people that are canceling Netflix subscriptions. I don't know anybody that's adding them either, because everyone already has it. But that's the only risk, is you get a slowdown in subscriber growth, just because of how huge it's been. But I don't think it, like I said, I mean, not third world, but I guess emerging worlds, economies like that are going to adopt this technology. And with the internet growing and Starlink and everything just getting bigger and badder, I just really think that Netflix has a huge opportunity as well, globally positioned, to succeed. So yeah, I think there's more. My charts just did a little funny thing there. I think there's more of a ramp here for Netflix. And yeah, man, I mean, I really like the stock. I would say, again, if you're trading it, pullbacks into the 200, like, it's an earnings play, and it's a gap higher. The gap was 8%, was supposed to be an implied move, was about 8.5%. So you're almost getting double that. And on 1,000 break, you probably will get double that. It'll probably go like 1,020 or something like that. So we've already hit the 1,009, 1,005. So, we always like to play VWAP and things like that. But right now you're at VWAP, and it's been pretty choppy here this morning. So for me, it's like a no trade until we get maybe to 10 o'clock and we have a developed volume-weighted average price. If I want to play off volume-weighted average price, I want to play above it as long as we're above it. And then below it, I want to stay away. So we'll try to be greater than the volume-weighted average price around 10 o'clock. I think that's going to be the trade. So I'm going to have to leave it for now and go over and see what's going on with Oracle.
All right, let's touch on this AI Stargate story coming late yesterday. $500 billion investment from the U.S. government going into infrastructure. Oracle involved, as guys were just mentioning, SoftBank involved, OpenAI specifically. Here's Oracle right now, 10% after what happened all day yesterday, basically.
What a move. What a move, and a big gap up here. If I can show it on the chart, guys. We were at 180 or so, and then we gapped up aggressively into that 187.5, so good look there. Here's the deal. So it's going to start out with $100 billion. With the promise, obviously, of adding another $400 billion as within 4 years. So keep an eye out on that. What it's going to be spent on is 20 data centers, 20 AI data centers. There's one already under construction in Texas. Each one is going to be about 500,000 square feet. So it gives you the idea of the size and the magnitude about this. We'll have to obviously wait and see. Masayoshi-san was letting Donald Trump know that, he came in with $100 billion initially. Donald told him, how about 2? And now he's coming with 5, Brendo. Well, obviously not on his own, but yeah.
Can't one-up him.
There. Why not?
Can't one-up him. Yeah. Oh, by the way, not related, but kind of, I guess, Anthropic raising at $60 billion valuation yesterday. So the AI race continues.
Yeah, the race is on. The Canadian economy would love to have some of that kind of investment in it. That would be pretty nice. That be whatever. It is what it is. Those are fantastic numbers, and apparently more to come along those lines. So the Oracle's gapped up 10 points here. The super chat we had in question was, do we think you can get to 186, I should say, which is the pre-market low as we speak, and that's actually the area that I'm looking for on a dip. It's a standard gap up play. You have room to the high, which is 198. So I think you have room to get there, and it's already done double digits. Great, but you've got 186. The last time we tested the high, 186 was the prior support and resistance. So that's also the pre-market lows. That's where I'm looking. You hold that price, I'm only looking continuation long. So like a dip and go off the open. If it never retests 186 and we just trend off of VWAP, that would be the other way to get in before any potential breakouts. Oracle, great looking stock. what can you say about it? It's just another one of these names headed towards its fresh highs, all-time high. About $10 away right now, $10 away. I think it has a good chance of getting there, but it's just about that 186. A couple of levels of confluence there with that price.
So we're going to look, I probably won't be looking at Oracle because I'm going to be looking at ARM. And if I'm in one, then, we'll leave the other for now. I don't know which one's going to be better or not, but right here, 160 to 162 long, buy dips on this AI strength in the news that we have right there. It's on the sticky note. It's a trade that I like, and I'm going to support. That's Netflix. I was just looking. Netflix just broke $1,000, by the way. Okay, so 163 is where we're at right now. So there it is. So it's a 200-period moving average. It's between 160 and 162. I like that sort of a level there. It's not going to be like one of those levels that we really hold on to. If we break through 160, then it's flush city, I think. I don't want to say flush city, but then the next decision you're going to have to make is going to be yesterday, in and around yesterday's close, which is 156, 157. So I'm not holding this $5 against me. That is. We talked about what happened yesterday on Tesla. Same thing could give back today. Tesla yesterday was up in the open, and then we wound up being down a couple percentage points, only to rip back to 420 and change. So I would say this could also see some profit coming out. I mean, this Stargate, everything is just like it's investment into AI. What's going on, Neil? It's investment into AI and things like that. So I'm not sure everything is completely as specific. It's $500 billion over the next few years. So let's just wait to see how this accrues and hit some of these names come the next quarter or whenever they're going to start to book some of these revenues. I'm not even sure when they're coming through. But ARM up 5%, dip downs into 160 is a level that I like. So I'm playing ARM holdings, long 160 to 162. If we're going to open up at 163, I'm going to wait for 160. So let's get our bids in around 160 half, and then we'll figure out what's going on. So right now I like ARM holdings out of the group. Let's go find out what UAL is up to.
Impressive here. We've been talking about these airlines for the past couple of months here. So strong. Here's UAL up 5.5 this morning on a beat. Forecast increase as well. Demand is just nonstop for flights still.
Ridiculous. We always used to joke, how do you convert a billionaire into a millionaire? You invested in an airline company. Well, you wouldn't have been in the wrong part of the trade if you were in UAL. So let's talk about how they did. First quarter 2025 earnings forecast. That's what's moving the needle here. They guided up, so they're looking about 75 cents to about $1.25 per share for EPS going forward. Full year earnings looking good as well. Needless to say, their fourth quarter 2024 results, they beat handily on the top and bottom line. Some of the key revenue drivers, though, their loyalty program, as well as both international and domestic flights, and they report, Brendo, continued strong demand for premium seating for both business and domestic.
Have you seen these? They're
Domestic.
kind of memes, I guess, that are floating around, but I think Air Canada had one on its social media a couple weeks ago that I saw where they're testing, quote unquote testing, removing seats from planes and just having the handles like on a bus.
Yes.
Maybe the next thing to come.
I want to tell you something. Ryanair, the owner of Ryanair back in the day, he was trying to advocate for a standing room only area. So like it wasn't already packed enough in Ryanair flights. Anybody who's ever taken one knows. Yeah. Needless to say,
those are essentially buses.
Yeah.
You don't get an assigned seat.
No.
It's just first come, first serve kind of thing on a bench for Ryanair.
You try to stand on a flight,
I don't think you're allowed to stand.
Are you crazy?
Are you allowed?
What are we talking? What?
Turbulence? What's going on, man?
Okay. That's
turbulence up in here.
That's a little weird. I can't see that happening. But look, UAL is now, what is this? 20% above its pre-pandemic high, which, it just sounds weird to say because it's not. I don't think it's what anybody expected, but. Look, it's in the midst of a pretty big breakout. Now, it's only 6% short float. Its days to cover is like 3. So relative to the volume it usually does, it is a pretty decently shorted stock relative to its actual volume. But wow, it's been on an absolute tear. It's a bit of a blue sky setup. Prior high here was like 102.70-ish or so. And now all of a sudden, you've opened up and 112.70, not 102. Whether or not you can do any kind of a gap fill to there is seemingly a little bit unrealistic. That said, look at where this settled down in the afternoon or in the aftermarket. 114.5. Opens up, just chilling there, and is trended off of this 114.5. I think that gives you VWAP. I think that gives you the 114.5 level to work off of for UAL. $100 stock, but it's only done a couple 100,000 in volume. Pretty light. This is definitely a wait until that open volume comes in situation for UAL. But that, it's showing you 114.5 and working the trend, blue sky setup. I think room to that pulse market high here as well. So yeah, a little bit of a dip and rip scenario here for UAL.
All right, so yeah, those airlines have been crazy good. We talked about the Jets ETF. I think that's the best way to invest in them. You get a little bit of all of them. All right, couple fan funding here. Get Results Fitness Trainer wants to know about LEDs and their possible patent there. What's up? First super chat, I think that means. So thank you for that. And then we're going to talk about that right now. And I'm also going to tell you that, just really quickly, phobias. Yeah, you shorted an Oracle 190, 186 too hopeful. No, 186 likely is what I'm going to say for that one, especially off the open for Oracle. All right, so it's where the 50-period moving average is. I think you're going to hit it. So, all right. LEDs. The only thing I want to say about this one is it's only a 3 million share float. So it's LEDs, right? Semi-LEDs Corporation. So you just talked about a possible patent coming through or whatever that fan funded was. The short float is non-existent, but that's not going to be real. 3 million shares on this. So thank you for the super chat and bringing it to everyone's attention. It's down a little bit here, but as you can see, does have that option or that the availability to rip up on the low float. So yeah, this is a good name to look at. Do your own research on it, but you super chatted, so I want to go over the float. And then Oracle, again, on another super chat, we really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, down into here, sorry, it's the 50 period. I thought it was the 50 period on the 5-minute chart, but maybe it's not. Okay, so here it is. The 200 period right now is 183, 184. I think if you snap through right now, 186 is just right here. Like, it's not out of the realm that you get this. My problem is, look at what the market's doing right now. And I don't know how many shares you have. I mean, I always think a stop order at day's high is probably reasonable. If you said you're short at 190, see, my screen just flickered again. If you're short at 190, that high is 192. So I think $2 worth of risk, if that's going to be where your stop is, to get 4, I think it's worth it. You get a 2-to-1. I like how you're talking there. That makes a lot of sense to me. So I think Oracle's okay there. The only thing I was going to say, market pulling back, not that much, but pulling back about almost 10% of what it was at 1.1 or so. So pulling back a little bit there. Oracle doing nothing. So that would be my only thing. If the market rips, obviously Oracle will sort of lead the way here. So yeah, thanks for all the super chats there as we start to get going. Look, we're going to talk about more tech here with some of the 2 biggest names. I think these 2 stocks have minted the most millionaires, would be my guess, especially over the last couple of decades. It's Tesla and Nvidia.
Still looking pretty good here in the pre-market is Nvidia, 3.25, trying to get back to session highs here. Oh yeah, they're going to supply the chips for this Stargate deal. So benefiting as well from what was announced yesterday.
Yeah, fantastic move already here to start the day. 3 1/3 here for Nvidia as it comes into that 146 level. We'll have to watch that 150 level that it rejected back in early January. Other names that are running, obviously, on the back of this news: ARM, Dell, Microsoft, Oracle, all benefiting directly or indirectly from the Stargate news, Brendo. So tech in focus yet again.
Some of the other ones, though, I noticed. Not so much, not as much as Nvidia, Oracle, but we'll keep an eye on all of these. I was just hearing ASST also popping up in front of me here. Coming back in a little bit, but took out $1.50 there on a headline, but decent volume behind this, to say the least, already for ASST. This portion of the show brought to you by our friends at Hive Digital Technologies, HIVE, the ticker on the NASDAQ. They're pioneering the digital transformation through sustainable AI solutions and Bitcoin mining, a global leader in cutting-edge data center operations with over 2,700 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Hive consistently tops the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash and is redefining the future by powering the world's most transformative technologies with efficient, green, and clean energy. Learn more by following them at Hive Digital Tech or at hivedigitaltech.com. Sign up for their Hive newsletter for updates.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much there, Brendo. And shout out to Hive. And that's stocks that are not doing as well in the chip space that you might have been referring to. I would posit that AMD, which is still underneath yesterday's high. Meanwhile, Nvidia doing Nvidia-like things. Yesterday, it did that whole make you go through the gauntlet sort of thing in the open. And then obviously once we got that news in the afternoon, that's where you had the ramp up. Daily's got lots of room to get you to that high. I mean, I'm talking about room in a day to get you back into the 150, which is the local top. So you're at 145. I think that's a reasonable place to think we hold the strength today. That's where we want to be heading. I threw up to 15 just to go all the way back to, hey, there's the day we lost $150. And the next 2 days, 143.5 was resistance. Well, that same day and then the next day. As long as it's above that level, looking long. Looking long in Nvidia. I got a bunch of dark pool wicks. That sets up the pre-market lows here, 144.5 and then 143.5 on some dip buys. As I said, AMD is just distinctly different right now. It's up a percent. Like, don't get me wrong. It's gapped up just like everything else is, but the resistance at yesterday's high is in play. If this market doesn't maintain its strength, I feel like this one, it's starting to do that thing where you get a few days worth of a rally in AMD, and then all it does is, oh, of course, as it try to draw the trend line for you, which usually I already have them in there. It does a few days rally in AMD, kind of gets up to like a prior resistance on the trend, and then reverts a little bit here. And if you kind of connect the dots, it's getting to that spot again here on Advanced Micro Device. So I like the long in Nvidia, and yeah, we're going to buy it off that 143.5 as long as it's higher than the pre-market lows. Those are the 2 levels I'll be looking. But AMD, if we fail the top right away at the open, I might weasel into some shorts if no longs are setting up.
Yeah, we'll be weaseling into some Nvidia. I mean, Nvidia is going to be our number one. We have Amazon as our number one trade idea, but you know, I really like Nvidia here. The only problem now, it's kind of like what we've been saying is the market right here is coming back a little bit. So we can always talk about all these stocks, but at the end of the day, you know, this is where the market is right now. We're looking to try to break back down below this 21,900 on the NASDAQ. We did not get to 22,000, which is a little bit of, like, I wish we at least gotten here, and then we could have possibly shorted somewhere in around here to just to bring it back into the 50 period and then maybe gap up on some more earnings over the next couple of days. But yeah, this gap could get faded, and it wouldn't surprise me if we at least come back to 21.8, which is 100 handles lower, and then 21.7 to see what happens in and around 21,750. So for me, like I'm someone in the chat there said, you know, go short everything off the open. I don't know about going short everything, but I'm definitely not going long immediately here. But with that being said, as I say that, I do have a bid at 144 on Nvidia, waiting to see about this. But like, you know, we saw that yesterday. We had some banger trades, man, on the Qs. We had great trades. We had one loss yesterday. We were four positive names, one losing name for myself. And it's like yesterday, this didn't, look how choppy Nvidia was early. We had a move upside into like $2, then we fell back $2, and then we bounced off the 50, and then it was like game on until we didn't do much at the end, right? So that's a couple days. And then yesterday, nice move up, same kind of a move, 139, 140, back down to 137, rip back to 140, then the move down to 130, like, so there's a lot of action, right? And then there's the close, like we were saying, pretty choppy. So this move could happen back into 144 easily. And then you could even, I mean, 141, is that where we're going to be wind up going long? End of the day, I wrote down 143.50 and explained that it was the 200 period moving average. So right now, I don't really want to be holding on to too much more than where this is going to go. So I look at the 5-minute chart and say 143 is probably the line in the sand for me on Nvidia. So we'll start the buying at 144 quarters because I like the level there and I like the stock. But ultimately, if this market fades out, there's no economic numbers or anything coming through today. So I'm going to hold off on really layering into this until we get down into 143, which will be sort of the kill zone for me. So that's going to be a level that we look at, and it could be a very, very big trade opportunity down there in and around that 143 level. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Let's see if it holds there on Nvidia.
All right, Tesla continuing its downside move here to wrap things up. Huge sell-off yesterday. We did get most of it back above 420 by the end of the session. It's leaking, though, here this morning, already 2%. This is just an opinion. Gary Black, that runs the Future Fund Managing Partner, saying the 7,500 EV tax credit a quote-unquote huge negative for Tesla.
Yeah, so that's the bear case. So we'll go into his look in a second over here. He's basically basing it off the European decline in sales once they remove the EV tax credit. And this is the chart he uses to kind of make his case over here. So you had France and Germany remove, or all of Europe remove the EV tax credit, and then you saw a substantial decline in sales, about 22,000 per quarter in France, about 26,000 per quarter in Germany. You had some, Netherlands was a bit of an outlier there, but that's what he's basing it on. So the bull case here comes from our very good friend, Danny Ives at Wedbush.
Shocking.
And he's, he's raising the price target to a hearty $550. Previously, he had it about $515, maintaining that outperform rating. Should mention his bull case far higher than that $550. He's talking about $650 as his bull case, driven by a demand outlook with new models possibly coming in this year, as well as autonomous driving, and the positive interactions with political figures. Can't be understated here, Brendo.
Definitely. Just quickly on GME, there was a note. They're closing a bunch of stores in Connecticut. It did move down initially on that, but right back up right now for GameStop.
Positive interaction with political individuals. That's one way to put it, or whatever. Ear of the president, whatever you want to call it. I love the wording of that. Just quickly here, 1.1 million in balance. Whoops. Oh, okay. QBTS still has a balance of 1.3 million to the buy side. Oracle had one of 1.1 million, and now I don't see it anymore. Nvidia with a buying balance of 400,000. Those just all. A couple of those just dropped. Was that ARM? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we made $1 on it.
Yeah, Oracle just dropped like $3, but it didn't get to 146 or 186. Tesla was a dump zone yesterday. Obviously, it got to $406 before it finally reverted. The levels of interest, I think, are just going to be the higher low, which was the original level we liked at 412. That did not hold up. The first go through, and then 406. It does seem like this has a reasonable chance of getting back to that 50 on the daily. But when you look at this, it's very much diddling in the middle, 420 resistance, 12s and 6s on the downside here for a couple of mean revert levels. That was the only way to play the long yesterday off the bottom, was to try to look for an actual trend reversal on Tesla. So it looks weak again today. I think that's what you have to wait around for and see if it can do a little bit of a trend reverse there on Tesla.
Yeah, so we're already, we already said it, man. We took $1 right there on ARM, but it's coming back in right now. The spread is huge. The spread is $1 right now on ARM alone. Now it's starting to come back in. So we actually, Neil just looked at it, but there it is. We only got out of, about 40% of that trade. We just sat back down and was like, oh my God, we're long. So there's my bid. We talked about right here on the trade that we liked ARM going long at 160. So we took that 160.50. We know it's very, very dangerous, as we said, to sit here and play names that, spike back and forth like this. So you got to watch out on, just not on earnings, but like on stories, right? And ARM could go. And we said that there could be a pullback here, as there's still a lot of uncertainty about what this, I feel like, all this investment, when it's coming in and what's exactly going down with it all. But we're not going to hold this one past 158 or so. Like, our target was 160 to 162. So if we violate that too much, then we're going to be out. We've already taken profit on it, so it will be a loss if it breaks through 158. But we're in this way too early. There it is. There it is. A little bit of a nice move upside there. We just got filled at a good level there. We got some at... we got some at 161. I was actually waiting as well. Ooh, I thought we got that. We're actually waiting at 162. It goes up as 161 and change, but we're just hearing now Apple coming back in.
Apple just dropped big.
Yeah, so nice move on Apple if you're short. Wow, that's a big move in.
Amazon also.
What's up with this volume right now coming in? I think whoever mentioned that may be possible, not a rug pull, but maybe something going on here off the open, you may be correct. My friend. So I'm going to still think about keeping this Nvidia trade in here at 144 to get that long, just because we're a wild man like that. So we're going to hold on and see what winds up happening here. But yeah, as you mentioned, a couple names moving.
Amazon ran to its right to its all-time high, that 233. Actually got to 232.98 or something like that, and then just pull back $1 as well. So, I mean, Amazon, we're talking about which one would get to their all-time high for a breakout yesterday, Amazon or Google. The answer was, it kind of is Amazon, I suppose, but a little bit of a pullback here into prior day close. If you're going to fail, and I wrote this on my note, like if you're going to fail a high break, you need to hold the prior high, or gap fill risk is going to be big there on Amazon. So right now, prior high is 20 cents away. Where did Oracle get to? Oracle dipped as well, but it actually held on to VWAP. So Oracle does not get down to that 186 level, manages to hold on to VWAP. And then very quickly, we didn't mention too much about the quantum names. Rigetti, which had a good 13 to 14 run in the afternoon to top off the fact that it went from 10 to 14 in a single day. Yeah, that 14 prior high is under test. It is trending down going into it. I said if Rigetti loses the bid, the one that I would try to trade short would be QBTS. And it's free locates for us. And if we lose VWAP there, I would look for a short. But Oracle off the open, Nvidia off the open. We'll be looking to see if we can hold that bid. Is Adara, hump day, get it started in 2 and 1.
All right, so let's see if stocks go on sale or not here to start the day. We're only in ARM. I'm going to take, okay, there's Nvidia. So there goes
frozen.
ARM. Yes, sir, there it is,
frozen.
man. Let's go. A little bit of a move there to start the day off. We'll go bang, bang, bang as ARM now ripping, Neil. It's a big one. It's $2 in the money now for ARM as that's going even higher. Let's go, baby. This is a whole day maker, honestly, right now for me on ARM. Let's get some more out there. Punch some out there at the 50 level. Big win to start the day there. $3 on ARM Holdings. We do take the long on Nvidia as well as it dip dives a little bit into 144. We said we'd stick our neck out a little bit and take that trade, so we do it. And ARM as well. Congratulations, anybody that had that. Not only did we get our 162, we get our 163.50. You just see me punch into that one as well. So we'll watch out for Nvidia now as the market's just kind of chilling out. We'll get maybe a little more long around 144. And then we do want to look at Amazon. I thought this was going to break as well up to 233.
No break.
So yeah, no break yet. But if that does happen, we want to be there. All right, here goes ARM. Another move higher, man, into 165. ARM is your trade so far, guys. Nice move upside there for ARM. Hopefully you guys follow the sticky note. If you get it, it's at Trader TV Sean right now. 2 for 2 and big ones, Neil. Almost $1 now in Nvidia.
Great look over there in Nvidia and ARM as we're getting.
Wow.
You're way
$7.
too strong over there in Oracle. Just picked up some Oracle, and Rigetti just regained the $14 level. So over under on RGTI going to be quickly set up. We got the 14 long. We'll play it back off of the low there as we're going higher and higher. I have my orders set for Amazon, which is now creeping above 232. Want the breakout on Amazon. That again, like yourself, that was my top. Yeah. I love that Amazon breakout trade if we're able to get it. Oracle coming into that 186 as we speak. And
44. Guys, Nvidia
143
right now.
half.
Oh, man, too bad. Yeah, I was at 143 halves as well. Right there, yeah, 143 half is what we wrote down. But we had talked about where we were bidding and actually the fact that we wanted to get more down there. That spidey sense going on Nvidia. Boom, right into the 200 period moving average. Again, like I didn't think we'd have the trade of the day with ARM, but we do. It is $8 now, Sharif, in the money off the jump with ARM. We always talk about being at our day's goal. We are now at 130% of the day's goal as it starts to go even higher and higher and higher right now. Neil, we're $10 in the money and it's 3 minutes in so far here today. Let's see what we can do on this play as there goes Nvidia. I sat down, I looked over to Sharif and I go, Nvidia is the one. This is the one that's going to be going. So we'll wait to see what happens now. It's ARM $8, Nvidia $2. Today, as Ice Cube said, is another good day.
What the heck, Tesla? Okay. Well, we don't get the 186 on Oracle Holdings, so unfortunately that one is going to have to come out, but only temporarily. I don't mind getting back into it. We're only about 20 cents underneath as we speak. Going to need a bit of a rounded bottom to come on through for Tesla. I'm going to go ahead and cancel Amazon. Amazon just broke the pre-market low, so that's a bit of a rule for myself. It just broke the pre-market low. I'm just going to cancel the bid. If we get back above 232, I'll still have the breakout set up on Amazon. We like that all-time high break, but guess what? It's not actually happening here on AMZ. And it's going to be the one that missed for me is Nvidia. I was sitting at 60-something, which I can go ahead and cancel now. 143.5 was the level I liked on Nvidia. It did come in there. I was on the bid, missed it by about 2 or 3 cents. But it's already starting to pull back in. So as long as we get back in a chance to get this long again, maybe step up a little bit higher in front of the 144 level to try to get that play. But remember, this could also be a failed break of the high. And if you fail break the high, I said I wanted to be looking at advanced micro devices short. and that can't be real. Actually did the same thing, fail break of the high, but that looks like it went down $2 and bounced. That's a bullish candle. I no longer want that trade. That can't be real.
What's up, Pro Day Trader? The $10 club has opened. It's funny because like Neil chose Oracle there and I chose ARM, and like I have no idea like what's going to happen there. But you guys, you know, when we put that story up, I was like, I'm only trading ARM today right there. And as you can see, maybe the biggest winner in a long time. I mean, we had some monsters yesterday, but there's ARM 160 to 162. Neil, it's now a clean 10 pack right now on ARM as it's just Rip City right there to the upside. So yeah, let's just get something out at 170.50. I mean, there it is, man. Good trade there. You're getting your wish now, Neil, for Nvidia as it's coming right back in right now. We don't have, you know what? I was gonna buy more at 144. I'm gonna cancel that right now. We've been getting out, obviously. We have about 20% left of this trade. I'm gonna get another piece out right now in the 40s if we can, as Nvidia's been pretty weak. Wow, this ARM trade is now $11 in the money and going a little bit higher right now. So, yeah, we'll go 2 for 2 on this side. I know you were a little bit in Rigetti there in Oracle, so what's going on over there for you? Because I'm just going to be sitting down watching sort of this go. Like ARM is an absolute monster right there. It's too bad that took $2 and $3, but right now almost 11 here on ARM.
Yeah, great look over there on ARM. Like I said, I picked Oracle, and Oracle didn't hold a bid. Now UAL did make a bit of a dip, so there's still the same stocks I'm looking at. Both of the quantum names, UAL, Oracle's still up, and then of course looking for Nvidia to give you that higher low play. I have Amazon on the watch, but Amazon kind of looks like this, and it's languishing a little bit. Like the market is pressing back to the highs. Amazon just continues to go lower, so you can't take a breakout on a stock that only wants to go down. Rigetti tried to hold the 14. It opened up, made the break. I had the long. It actually went in the money a little bit in there, but giving it to that prior low, that's always the rule. If it wants to do a rounded bottom, I don't mind jumping into it again, kind of take that first pot shot. If it can do the rounded bottom, great. If we fail 14, I didn't pay for locates on Rigetti. It's QBTS that I want to be involved in. So looking at that over under, it's $7. Rigetti fails, QBTS is free shorts. So that's what I'm going to go to. And then Tesla, we're for out there. Art thou Tesla. Right through the highs. There was no dip into 12. It's at 28s, trying to hold on to VWAP, but probably going to get a test of 143.5 on Nvidia before we get any significant pullback in Tesla, is my guess. Adara, what's up?
Actually, quite a few earnings names during rounds. We'll do a quick temperature check on some of these day one earnings moves. PG here, Procter Gamble up about 3.5%. Nothing too crazy happening here. Some wicks to the upside, holding up fairly well. We also have UAL. This is our airline earnings name. So it actually took quite the drop at the open. Now trying to recover here, still about 4%. Last but not least, Netflix here to keep an eye on. NFLX actually going from a nice range above that 1,000 level to looking like a bit of a bear flag with a sharp push into 960s off the open. So NFLX trying to hold on here. UAL and we also have PG holding up relatively well there, guys. Back to you.
Load.
Okay, thanks, Adara. Yeah, load. Thank you, everybody, for watching, man. I mean, we just got ARM out at 172. We're holding now just over 10% left of ARM. So, again, like $12 right there as we go. We're almost now, now we're 150% of our goal. And I think it's important to talk like that just because, you want to make sure that if there's profit, like we had that question about like, hey, if they sell Netflix at the open, what am I going to do with it? And it's like, you have to have a plan of action, right? And it's like when certain levels are hit, like I don't know where ARM is going to go. Like ARM is now $14 in the money off of our level. So like this is going, and we're, like I said, we're now out of, like have about 12, 13% left of that. But it's like when we hit certain levels, I'm taking the profit and then letting the rest ride. And I think that's important to do because that way you can level up your game even more. And then you're not making you're not saying, oh, I just won just because I let this go. It has to be part of your plan. So like right there, we got nervous about Nvidia. I said I was not reloading that over there, you know, but we should have. It came right into the 200 period. It basically followed our rules, and then there it goes, straight back there to the upside. So again, two very, very simple trades for me today, and two absolute monster trades. And I just hope that you guys were able to get some of that. There's going to be other names out there, like Neil was mentioning, Oracle and Rigetti and anything else. It's just these are the ones I'm looking at. So those are the ones we're doing. Amazon was a 230 dip buy opportunity I wrote down. It didn't get to that yet. And we also wrote down a 233 break. So when and if these plays start to come in, then fine. But we can go back and document, like if I follow the rules, then it's good to go. And I mean, we almost have 50,000 followers. Go check it out. Follow us all on socials, at Trader TV Sean, Trader TV Neil, everybody here at Dara, and go hit our main account because we're posting up stuff. And it's been working, that is for sure. All right, I think if that breaks 170, maybe we'll get out of one more piece and then let the rest ride. My stop on this trade was 158. So we actually talked about that at 8:30 or 8:50, whenever we talked about ARM. And it was going to be, if you had the $2 to the upside, it was that same example on Oracle there. How much do you give it? So we were only giving this one to 158 because we didn't want to get into, remember, I was like, we don't want to get to 156, 157 and hold $4 against us. Who knew that we'd have a $14 winner, Neil?
Who knew?
But there it goes. Yeah.
I love that ARM trade.
You could never predict it.
I never have enough of that silly stock. And it's looking like that's going to continue. Oh, QBTS just absolutely flushed. So we liked it in front of $7 on QBTS. It's absolutely dying right now. I flipped on over to it when Rigetti lost the bid, and looks like this one's going to continue to go down. AMD is going to, there we go, flip back over to AMD. It just did a hefty pullback. So as Nvidia gets back to the high, Nvidia did not get the 144 on the pullback. Nvidia actually bouncing back into its high. Failed high break, short AMD. If you break the high, buy next available dip on Nvidia. We're trying to play the patience game here because the first dip by one, Oracle did not hold on. So we got to look for the next play. Always got to be patient looking for what something sets up. Right? Like I don't want to get like FOMO'd into something. Amazon has gone the wayside, unfortunately. You know, we thought this was going to be a top breaker and it's trending down. So, you know, it's not really giving you any sign of a long. I'd look for some kind of higher low. It's got room till it gets to support. Any kind of a higher low comes in on Amazon, and I don't mind buying that dip. So the first look is going to be Nvidia at this high. If it breaks out the top, I look for a break, fail pullback into VWAP. If it fails this high break, I have AMD up. It's AMD that I would short off of its high. As Nvidia looks like it's a bit of a rocket ship here. I mean, the market is now back to the top and breaking it back out. So it's like all systems go on just about everything with the exception of Amazon and Apple, from what I can see.
Randy, we're $18 in the money now in total positions. So, yeah, I mean, Randy, it just can't happen every day, my guy. But yeah, we'll figure it. Neil's buying lunch today. We'll figure that out. Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, that would be nice. Okay, so right now, look. Yeah, man. And we wrote it down. We wrote down 160 long. So when it comes in, it's even sweeter than that. But thank you, Randy. But yeah, there it goes, man. And then we also have Nvidia, Randy, which might even look a little bit better down there at 144 and change. Now trying to take out the highs as well. So yeah, we're into this, man. And again, thank you so much for everything to everybody in the chat, all the kind words. Really nice. So yeah, we're just gonna sit back and just continue to do this. You know, we're in a much more relaxed state than you know. I think this is the way trading's supposed to be. You know, you have your plan, you put it on, Randy, and everybody sees us every day trading here. So they can see that some days. You know, we talked about it yesterday being red yesterday, and you know, today obviously will be a little bit of a different morning than yesterday. I know yesterday was a tough day across the board, and hopefully today is a much better one. So there we go. SBUX, let me have a look quickly at Starbucks. I like Starbucks down here in and around this level, but it's been hovering around the $100 mark for a minute. Yeah, so anyways, nice little, come up to the chart here. Who's over there? I mean, nice little move up there right now on Starbucks from that bottom. I think you got to break that 102 though to get going a little bit there. Yeah, so 176 now for ARM coming in play. $2. We can check out your Tesla after a minute, but we got to go over to Adara.
I just wanted to point out nano-nuclear energy, which I was seeing pop up here on my volume scanner. Not a ton of volume on this, under 2 million shares traded so far today. But why nano-nuclear is interesting is because it's up about 7% when the other nuclear names are a little bit more tepid today. Couldn't find any news on NNE, but you do have a 17% short float. So keep an eye on nano-nuclear, guys. Back to you.
Nuclear power in play for sure. So you just broke out that high on Nvidia and ARM continuing to go. DATS, I see it, everybody. DATS is in a halt. TAP is flat for anyone interested. DATS 584 with a 585 tap. So essentially it's indicating an open of flat. Probably could have halted a little bit sooner because that's already up 30 points as we look at it here. Amazon now starting to put in a bit of a higher low. So it's starting to look a little bit better for Amazon. You know, it doesn't make the breakout, doesn't get to $230, but if it can do this hold, get above this 232, creep above VWAP, then that would be the next look to said upside. We didn't mention Palantir, but just very quickly, Palantir did a lit grab like yesterday underneath the low. Last time it did this, once it got back above VWAP, it was a bit of a long. So, you know, it looks like a continuation play to me on Palantir. If you can get above VWAP and break out 75, that's reasonable, so long as Amazon doesn't set up, because I kind of want to be in Amazon today. And if that sets up a long, then I got to make sure I can grab that one. So Amazon starting to creep back higher here. I don't want to wait for a 233 break if it can finally hold on to VWAP, which it hasn't been able to do at any point this morning. QBTS is still trying to come to the upside along with Rigetti. So you're looking at Rigetti here, still underneath $14. So I will still short the 7 level on QBTS as these are both trending down. Didn't pay for locates on Rigetti, or I'd probably just do it on Rigetti.
Man, what a, we talk about like, you know, being involved in these markets and how this is such a great time to trade. And you're getting a lot of these follow-up moves now. So we were just talking about it. I was like, wow, man, we're $10 in the money. No, we're $20 now. Like this ARM extension in NVIDIA, we just took out another piece there of NVIDIA. So we have less than 10% of both of these positions now. So, you know, we're getting lighter and lighter in them, but, you know, the moves are still happening. So we're pretty excited to see the continuation plays right there. DATS has halted. Again, so we can see there, yeah, so just halted, yeah, still halted. The last print on this one, of course, 9:44. So this halts about 2 minutes ago, and we'll open up in 3 or so off of that move. So a nice little move up there, halting, obviously, I guess, on a volatility halt as we move up that 10% easily right there. So we'll have to wait to see what's going on with there. The DATS chat continuously moving higher there. I mean, again, looks like it has a lot of room to go for this name. It's only right now halted at 584. The high up there is 9 and change. Looking at some of these highs, $6 to $7 right now as we go. Okay, like this is starting to get just a little bit silly right now as ARM is taking this whole thing a little personally, I guess. Nice move to the upside, coming right back into these levels for ARM. I mean, $17 now. Like, I mean, just to have, like, we got that fill off the open. It's actually, you know, we could have, it was an all-you-can-eat sort of smorgasbord down there at 160. So, again, option available for anyone down there on ARM. We took it. We probably should have took some more shares, obviously, as you look at this. But look at the extension now. This is $18 in ARM. This is $3.250 on NVIDIA right now, as we are now at 160% as we continue to go higher and higher. But we only have 2% left of these names. So it's not, you know, it's not like one of those things where we'll just sit here and, you know, rest on them. But again, they're moving upside. I was going to put a target to get out of something here, and it was going to be about a 146 or so on NVIDIA. But honestly, I mean, I get out too much too early sometimes. So I'm just going to wait to see about Amazon. If Amazon breaks the high, I think it's not now. No, not even close. But that's going to be a trade that I'm going to look for down there at 233. Or we'll just go back with what we said in the beginning, buy a 230 dip and just stick with what's been honestly working like crazy, is sticking to your plan. Whether or not you have winners or losers on, you get out when your plan hits. And, that's been something, again, that has really, really worked out for us. And that's what sort of spurned the show and everything. Like, look, ARM is now at 180 right now and going higher. So, ARM really, really going up right now as long as...
It's squeezing some curls off right now this morning to get a session in.
This is paying for gym memberships for quite a long time here on ARM today. That is for damn sure. Huge move up there for ARM. I might get a piece out here near that 180 because why not? And then we can hold the rest and see what winds up happening. And there it is, man. We get a 179.40 there on ARM. Boom. $20 there, Adara. What's going on up with you?
Worksport here on watch. WKSP up about 5% right now, basically announcing that one of their subsidiaries here, Terravis Energy, developing a heat pump solution that's apparently very groundbreaking. They believe that this could actually fulfill the future possibility here of home heating and cooling. So R&D related announcement here for WKSP. Check them out in the NASDAQ, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, shout out to Worksport. That just opened up. I'll get to that in a quick little second. Amazon above VWAP, now starting to go. QBDS starting to roll back over. Rigetti had already gone. So obviously, the quantum names, Rigetti's at the low of the day right now as it broke down. We got into QBTS instead. Amazon just took 232 and VWAP for the first time in a hot minute as it broke out the local high. It just needs to hold on to 231.5 where you have that support. And then DATS did just open. So DATS opens up and immediately head to the downside. Broke 6 and now pulling back in here. So DATS, what goes up must come down. Let's see if it can hold VWAP if this is a fail breakout for DATS. Probably not really looking at many small caps that aren't quantum related here today. So QBTS, and again, free locates for us here at Real Trading as opposed to Rigetti, although they're dirt cheap on Rigetti. Just felt like QBTS holding on to VWAP. Let's see if we can get a break at the low of the day. Ultimate target, outside of obviously like $596 here, prior close. If it fills in the gap, I think a push back into the prior close makes a lot of sense into the 620 level here for QBTS. I almost said Rigetti.
Yeah, Rigetti. Okay, so I paid for shorts for Rigetti. They're basically free. I think it was 50 cents for 1,000 shares or something there. So we, you guys that are trading ARM, many people, I saw someone say, actually not many people, I feel like Trump, many people are talking about shorting ARM. I don't, boy, oh boy. We just took a piece out there for $20 and we only have now 5% left. So 5% left of Nvidia, 5% left of ARM. We took another piece out of Nvidia right here at 147. So, I don't know. I'm just going to hold the rest. I don't have any targets. If they continue to go up, good. All right, let's check out what DAT's probably going to halt again. No, up to 6. So that could have been there. Comes back into VWAP, holds $5.40. Now trying to go back upside DATS. But having a problem, remember, you could flush again. A nice volume. Sell candle volumes off the halt as we open back up near 580. And now we're going to the upside here on DATS, possibly off of VWAP. All right, so we really like Coinbase. The picks that we made for you last Thursday, Coinbase, Palantir, Dow Jones. Coinbase pulling back a little bit. The crypto space not having the greatest day today, down to 104 right now.
Apple near the high.
Yeah, I just heard that. Apple right now taking off. You get that flush there early and then a huge buy up. I might just go in and start buying some Apple shares, honestly, in my own account now.
Remember, it bounced off the 50 on the daily.
I feel like this is going to be something that goes upside here. And it just got taken out a little bit there to the downside, only to, I think, eventually get back. Apple, as we mentioned, is, names like Oracle and all these things that continue to blast higher. Again, Oracle had its day as well. Huge move to the downside, now that move higher. So I feel like there is something here with Apple and potential earnings play where you could get, I don't think we go back to the highs like Oracle did. Isn't it funny that it's 9:53 right now? This is like the first look of Netflix.
Amazon,
go ahead. Amazon's trying to break. Okay, good.
Amazon's back above VWAP. Amazon's back toward the 233 high break. So, the high is like 97s in here. So it's pretty much a clean, even dollar break if it gets there. I'm going to simultaneously if it breaks the top, go long. If it gets back into VWAP, reload. So we'll play it in either direction. Well, not in either direction. We're going to go long. It's just a matter of whether we get the high break first or we get an actual pullback in. The shares that we have here off of VWAP, like I'll take them out at like 90s or something like that, and then the next trade is going to be a rush. Oh, I have to cancel. Yeah, I just realized. Yeah, of course, I have to cancel that. And use a different type of stop order and still have a take profit in. We get up there to 90s, we'll get out and I'll use a different stop to go long 33s. Otherwise, we're buying that VWAP dip. Got to watch out for QBTS here because, I mean, it's a quantum name. The market's flying, right? It doesn't have to follow the market. But with us now 1 1/3% and the NASDAQ continuing to break higher, if we come back into VWAP, I don't need this thing all of a sudden holding the same low and then breaking back up this top. So it needs to fail VWAP for us to get another reload here on QBTS. Tesla's not really doing anything. I feel like it's going to be Amazon breaking this top or pulling into VWAP. That is the next available opportunity. So let's go Amazon, all-time high before Google, unless something happened in the last few minutes that I didn't see on Google.
Yeah, let's go Amazon. Yeah, look, guys, I mean, I think that we've talked about some of these levels. Neil and I both really like it. I think that breaking all these all-time highs, pretty important levels, obviously, here. So, yeah, stay with what's been working is like my only advice, and I think that that's exactly what we're trying to do right now with Amazon. Again, just seeing... playing the momentum. I mean, we talked about how huge this market is and what's been going on. We try to, again... pick the hot plays, pick the names with some sort of, and there it goes. So I didn't even get long right there, my order. I only crossed to 15s, but there goes Amazon. Nice little break. It's not even really that huge, but it's starting to go a little bit there. AMZN trying to make that move to the high side. So there's that break, guys. I'll buy a little bit here, but we are waiting for a little bit lower. It doesn't really matter, but down in here, we could get a little bit of a fail break. Ooh, we took the 26s there. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be punching out anytime soon, but I do have an order just for principle's sake there at 15s. If we get it, we get it. If not, we're in a piece right now of Amazon. Let's see what winds up happening here.
Principle is priceless, as a good friend of ours used to always say. Which it is. So Amazon, look, obviously Amazon's broken. It's all-time highs here on a closing basis. The actual high, you go back in the pre-market of, I forget what day it was, but it was like 233.35. So the fact that it broke 230 and then got into that prior high, scalp into that level, and then hold for the next dollar, at that point, it's a blue sky setup on Amazon. And what I mean by that is you don't have levels anymore. You know, I like to use trend lines up there. Some people like to use Fibonacci. Some people like to use every even dollar or every 50 cents. I don't think it necessarily matters, but Amazon is on one to said upside and not stopping anytime soon. The other thing that's happening right now is the bid on Apple. It just got green. Watch out for Apple because it just failed its high break, but that just might provide an opportunity to get VWAP on Apple as that's starting to look like a good one as well. So go Amazon. It just got to 90s. Did we get filled up there?
Let's go.
Yeah, we did. We just got filled up at 90 on Amazon. Now we'll just sort of see where it can go. If it gets back to VWAP, that's well underneath the 33, so we're not at the point that I'm holding through the high break. If we lose 233, I'm out and waiting for VWAP. If we bounce off 33, then I'm looking for a reload on AMZ to the N. Let's get going. What else is going on? Just let me know what else is moving in here. I did go back over to Palantir briefly, and it's only now getting to that 75 level, and just like Apple, bit of a failed break at 75, which puts VWAP into play. So the continuation play here on Palantir, not there until it holds on to VWAP as we speak. So strong day. I mean, the NASDAQ is absolutely booming right here. I don't think you want to look for anything other than finding places to buy a dip on a strong stock. So this is setting up here on Palantir.
So there it goes again, guys. I mean, it's your number one idea. It's a 233 long break there on Amazon. So we'll put that right in our pocket, take it again. So we'll go 1, 2, 3 for 3, and we'll look at Rigetti in just a minute. But there it goes. I mean, good trading. Our best outs are 233.90. Did it get that high? 233.92. We actually got a decent percentage out there, about 20% out at 233.90. So we'll wait to see if that's the key here to hold into the rest of the day here for Amazon and see if there are indeed some clear sales ahead there. We have very, very light positions in both ARM and on Nvidia, but it's always nice when you have that 3 for 3 day. And I mean, good trade over there by Neil to get that back from Oracle and Rigetti there. So let's see what winds up happening now with Amazon. And again, stick to your plans. This was the plan. We had both talked about it, and now, right? So you want to make money when things start to work. So I'm going to, I'll take out another piece here at 65s. We're only in at 37s right now as an average price. We were buying it up a little bit there. We didn't get the 15s when it broke. So we're going to have to wait to see what winds up happening now. Hopefully higher. I'm waiting now at 234.30s to see if we get that move. Let's have a quick check on Tesla, see what's going on. I mean, this market is...
Tesla is not good.
No, that's the one thing I was going to try to find out here. This market's absolutely booming, and right now Tesla goes for a run early, like a monster run up to 428, like yesterday's sort of closing areas, and then boom, straight to the downside for Tesla. Maybe story, maybe not, but that's a big move. ARM, well traded there. If this breaks 176, I think we get out of ARM. So we'll put that stop in and go find out what's up with Adara.
We're going to take a look here at what the market's done so far today, and the NASDAQ is massively outperforming the S&P 500. It is up by about 1.33%. S&P 500 here up about, I guess, 0.6%, but it is worth noting both of these names looking very bullish here in terms of patterns. They're both pretty strong to start a very exciting day. The top catalyst of the day by far is going to be that up to $500 billion investment here backed by this project Stargate, of course, run by Oracle, SoftBank, and OpenAI, and those companies' respective CEOs. There's a lot of other tickers, though, to watch out for in that space. We're going to get to that in a second here. Netflix, though, is another name on watch. Bit of a tepid start to the day. Drops pretty aggressively below that 1,000 level, trying to hold up right now around 980s. But this report was generally pretty strong here. They did beat on earnings per share and sales for Q4, 16% year-over-year increase in their global paid streaming memberships, getting upgrades from analysts like Rosenblatt, but their guidance for Q1 2025 was a miss across the board, so be aware of that weak guidance for NFLX. Dell here, this one actually one of the many sympathy plays here in that Project Stargate related announcement. Of course, Oracle, ARM, Microsoft are some of these plays. Microsoft up about 3% here I'm seeing as well. But DELL, Dell, and a lot of these data center server related plays also certainly on watch here. VST was another one that actually ran yesterday in this announcement. Vistra, because they're a utilities space based in Texas where their first investment's going to be. But alas, they've given up a bit of the ghost. Dell really strong, though. And then Tesla, here's the last name to talk about here, TSLA. This one, pretty weak today. They were basically flat in the day yesterday. We know that there's been some EV tax credits on watch. Gary Black of Future Funds opining on that. Right now, though, Tesla's still holding that key technical support at 417. So lots to look out for today, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, double bottom on Tesla at 416, but it's so distinctly different from the rest of the market, everybody. Like, I mean, the NASDAQ's so strong. You can see what's going on with Tesla. Christmas tree, green one side, red the other, if that's what you're into. But it doesn't look very good for Tesla. It's got to get back above 420, or I think we're headed for a return date with yesterday's lows on that one. So, like, I mean, there goes, QBTS just lost VWAP again. This stock just cannot hold down here. So, going to look for a reloaded VWAP. We tried to get it on the way back through, was unable to. It was a pretty hefty drop through. It went to like 698 or 99 and then dropped on through. I didn't chase it through 90. I just kind of offered it at 94. It didn't get filled and then had to walk away. Amazon's starting to revert the trend a little bit, and Nvidia is now testing VWAP. So for the first time since the open, Nvidia is trying to bounce off of VWAP. It just went to the 3/4 mark and then back up above 146. So in over VWAP, out local bottom, and see where it can go. And as I said, for Amazon, that's a bit of a topping tail wick here on AMZN. So when you do that, all right, it's going to probably close in here around the 234. If you lose this bid, you're kind of losing a bit of trend support here. It's a very, very steep trend. I just get another piece out, not all of it, because you're still out and about in front of VWAP. But if we close this bar underneath trend, I'll just simply jump out of one more piece and then wait for a VWAP retrace on Amazon. Still super strong as far as I'm concerned. Like, it hasn't lost the trend line, but it's at the point where I want to start taking profit on a break of trend.
Yeah, our best out there, we talked about 234.30 there on Amazon. So I have another offer at 234.80. I don't, we are still in about, sure. We are in still about 20 or 25% or so of the trade. So we still have some bullets to fire off right now on Amazon. So let's just let it go. I mean, 1.4% is not even that much. We had a fade out there on the NASDAQ, and then Amazon kind of held. I mean, that's one candle of 50 cents, but the NASDAQ like whooshed a little bit there. Was expecting a little bit more on that one. Okay, man, I mean, all good things must come to an end. We now have under that 5% of ARM, and if it breaks, I'm not even going to wait for VWAP. I'm going to break 170. The trade that I have on there is a break of 175.50 into there. So if we break that's 176. We break 175.50. We're going to get out. Nvidia, I'm not getting out of. We have less than 5% left of Nvidia as well. If anything, it's a reload right here at 145 and change. But like, I'm already just really in chill mode right now. That Amazon trade really put us through the moon as well. So in what's going to be, a good day here today, we'll just look back and say, what's up to Adara?
Teladoc on watch here, TDOC. This name was formerly Cathie Wood name. As of right now, though, about 7%, no catalyst for this name. Does have a 14% short float. So Teladoc here, past that $10 level, getting some volume. Keep an eye on this name. And we are brought to you today by Prop Firm Match. Are you a skilled trader that's looking for capital? Prop firms offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, allowing you to showcase your skills. Access account sizes ranging from 5K to 500K. And you can start with as little as $20, but with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which ones are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to trading platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. So just scan that QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today to find the perfect prop firm for you. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Darren. I just took another piece out of Amazon, like right here at 90s, just because like happy with the way the performance has been so far. And just like, Neil was talking about Palantir a little bit, like some of these names, and it was funny that Adara brought that to our attention, that, the NASDAQ is severely outperforming everything else right now, almost double what the ES is. The ES is only up 0.63. We could check in on banks and energy. Obviously, those things don't exist in the NASDAQ, but some of these other names just getting a little bit, top heavy potentially. And if that's the case, then we got to watch out now, because the NASDAQ, and we brought this to your attention earlier.
Palantir, I'm worried about.
Yeah, it's Palantir, Coinbase. I mean, I was just sort of looking at the crypto space. I really like to see crypto going to help this market, but we're at that level that we already talked about, that 22,000 mark. So like, we're right into here right now. So I could see a little bit, I don't think there's going to be a wall necessarily. We're over 22,000, but like, if there's any sort of a sell spot right now in the NASDAQ, maybe we're here right now. It doesn't look like it though, Neil, but you never know. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening here with this. But so far so good, I guess, with the NASDAQ and everything else going higher. As I say that about Amazon, and then it just rips up again. So, hey man, we're still at 234.80. Let's see if we can go on Amazon. I like this stock, but for now, let's just see where we go on AMZN.
Yeah, so
I don't know what else to do.
Remember Palantir at VWAP? Yeah, well, I guess we're not buying Palantir at VWAP.
No.
That one's puzzling to me. So, it kind of is what it is. It's a tired saying, but ball don't lie. And Palantir, 75, it looks like it was textbook. 75, look for a failed break and then hold a higher low. This breaks down, I'd be a little bit worried here. If the market's breaking out and you're breaking down, that is a generally bad sign when literally everything adjacent to Palantir is flying right now. So anyone that wants to make sense of that one, that's what analysts are for. So I don't have to bid it if it's not looking good. Nvidia's holding on to VWAP. Like, there's nothing wrong with NVIDIA here. I mean, even AMD, and I say even AMD because the daily chart doesn't look good. AMD breaking out those highs, so looking very strong as well. I actually put the whole thing out on the trend of Amazon, thought I would get slick, only meant to take a little bit out, but I actually hit the 100% instead of the 25, which does happen. If I get a reprieve and it comes back in, I will grab the bid one more time. I'm still sitting thinking VWAP will come in here again, but it might not. You might not get VWAP. You might not get 233. You just have to work into the higher low here on AMZN. So Apple was the other. There was two names I was looking for trend continuations at VWAP. Three of them. One of them was Nvidia. That happened. Palantir obviously did not, as it's going lower. And Apple now pulling back. So there's your bottom, there's your higher low, another higher low bounce off VWAP, and Apple, I think, can add to this party to the upside. QBTS, sort of the same thing as before. Like, it did give you another shot through VWAP if you could have been more aggressive on the way down, but now I think you're going into that gap fill. So the prior day close was $6.29. That is the target here on D-Wave. See, I didn't call it qubits for once.
Nice. Okay, good trade there. Yeah, D-Wave, Rigetti. I mean, I have to start looking at some Rigetti, actually. Okay, so there it goes. We're still in Amazon. I put an offer at 40 now to get something out right there. We'll get out another piece of Amazon. As we said, we were still in about 20%. Oh, it just stopped on us at 40 there. We just saw it. There it is. Okay, no stopping this time. As it takes out 40 right there for, again, it's another Dollar Club winner. We're sitting on 23 of them right now. And most of it coming from ARM. I mean, ARM just had that dip. Instead of, I said I would try to change. I mean, I have changed. And, you know, for me, for the better. It's like, instead of, and I said this, like, I was like, I'm going to get out of ARM at 175.50, but you know what we should have done? We should have reloaded it in and around that level and given ourselves a little bit more room to the downside. This was already a 10-to-1 sort of risk to reward trade. We really liked ARM this morning. It was on the sticky note, and we really liked Nvidia as well down here at these levels at the 200 period moving average. So all of these had come in, but now we're starting to get lighter and lighter on it. So let's go check out what's going on with IBIT as it's ripping now. Bitcoin, we just talked about, remember I was like, yeah, you know, I don't know about these futures because, oh my gosh, right now, it is a hot dog cannon for Amazon. Amazon right now, it is Moon City. And as Neil had mentioned, as I mentioned, you can go find us both. We can go look over. I mean, you can ask us what our situation is here, but this is what my situation is today. Amazon long, Nvidia long, right back to the 200 period, ARM at those levels. So that's clean, right? 233 long. That happened. That was easy. We all had it. Neil, it's now $2 in the money on Amazon Plus. There goes Nvidia too, back to the 200. That's exactly as it was written. And then only to have gotten more down there on ARM. 12.50 for Rigetti. Be patient. So we're being that, and we're going to have to go over and look at that one right there. But there goes AMZN. It went to 235.50 on that upside. So I'm going to put an offer at 40s. See if we can get it right there. As, oh boy, we shut out our guy Obi. As right now we are $25 in the money on all of these trades. Just wishing that we had the full boat. But, you know, if you're here for trades, great. If you're here for personality, great. Hopefully we have a good combination of both of those. So hit the like, hit the subscribe. This is all real trading. Again, it's kind of like watching, you know, a video game or watching a sporting event or anything like that. So if you have any sort of questions or comments about anything, man, drop them in there, tag us. We'll let you know how our day's going, anything like that. Let us know how your day's going there in the chat. I'm going to go over to Adara. Adara, how's your day going?
My day's going great, thank you, Sean. I'm assuming anyone who's long Meta, their day is going fantastically as well here. META up about 2% with about 2.5 million shares of volume so far, though they're still struggling with 630. CNBC reporting that Meta has invested here in Databricks, which is an AI-related company. There is a lot of speculation they're going to be IPOing this year, and previous investors in Databricks include the venture arm of Salesforce CRM, as well as Amazon Web Services. So META reportedly investing here in Databricks, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. You know, I mean, we've shown a lot of the Mag 7 names, but 2 of them that we haven't looked at, actually 3 of them, Meta being one of them, Microsoft, I haven't even glanced at Microsoft, Alphabet. And I feel like, you know, had Alphabet made the same break and been stronger on the chart, probably might have even had that over or in addition to Amazon. But just up here, guys, I see the questions, a lot of people asking about Rigetti in the chat, so want to respect that and get back over to that. But
Okay.
there's been a few people asking about Rigetti, but QBTS did bounce off the prior day close. So it goes right in there, and then a little bit of a bounce happening in QBTS. So that was the target out. If it pulls back into VWAP, I'd look for a re-entry on that trade. Again, just a stair step to the downside, market stair stepping up by the dips, something stair stepping down, sell the rips, or short the pops, as it was said to me on the floor a long time ago. RGTI, which did the turnaround, we initially went long over 14. That was part of the plan. Give it to the prior day, prior low at that point. But it is also at the low. It's red on the day. It's underneath the close. But usually I like a candle like this when you get a reversal on the low of the day. But you've got to close. We're trying to revert the trend here in Rigetti. So it's still in the falling phase, and there is a lot of room to get you can say 1230, 1240 in here. In the afternoon, there was a 13 level that we had the long off of in the afternoon. So I think that's the next spot for me, would be that even dollar at 13. And then one more, just going back over to Nvidia. It's trying to hold VWAP. It's already bounced once off VWAP and then able to get back into 146.8. So about a 50-cent move after these wicks underneath VWAP. Just going to continue to play off VWAP as long as it wants to hold. What I don't like about this, though, it's not perfect. You'd be putting in some lower highs. So I don't, at this point, if you don't make a fresh high, you kind of have this going on. You have the little top there at 147 change, then you have this lower high. If we don't actually break this trend first, then I only want to be long on an up move. So let it get down in through VWAP or just slightly break it, hold this level here, and then get long on the way back up, as opposed to sitting on the bid when suddenly you just put in a lower high. So just a bit of a change in the plan of action, how we'd get filled on NVIDIA. So yeah, that's going to be the next one we look at here, I think, NVIDIA off of VWAP.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to adjust the ARM stop, I think, now. I mean, what about 178.50 maybe there on ARM? I mean, you're now taking out the day's high. I mean, the NASDAQ's also at the day's high. It's very foolish to sit here and not adjust sometimes some of the stops because, again, even though we only have a smaller piece left, it still doesn't mean that you make incorrect plays, right? And so this is still fine. I'm going to actually use the 50-period moving average right now. So that's at 175.70. So I'm going to cancel now my 175.50 break. And I'm actually just going to put this at 170. I mean, it's probably, I don't want to say it's going to get there, but that's still 175. All right, you know what? 175.50 is probably still fine. Well, I don't know why I just canceled that. 175.48. We'll get out of everything if it does break there. I was just going to adjust it to the 50-period moving average. I thought if it was going to keep climbing, we'd have maybe a little bit of a more dramatic spot there. I was going to switch it to 176, but still okay. I still think you still need to be focused on the right levels at all times, right? I mean, no matter how many shares you have left. I mean, even if NVIDIA breaks VWAP right here, it might actually be a complete turnaround. So this stop on NVIDIA has never existed for me because we got in and it just blew up once we got into this at 144. We don't have the biggest position for ourselves because, again, it was literally taken in the first 20 seconds of the trade. And the same thing with ARM. But at the end of the day, the position's in there, and it's a good one. So we're going to take advantage of it, even if this market falls back in here. I see Nvidia's long, Neil's long Nvidia and Palantir. So 146.30 Neil's price. I'm going to get out here if we break this 145.80. So I'm going to put that in right now, 145. 79. If it breaks below that, we'll get out. We just have a very, very small piece left. It could be a reload there for sure. The NASDAQ is held at 22,000. So, hey, man, if we get out and it's the wrong call, then it's the wrong call. And we've only taken then $2 on the trade. So we'll ho-hum that one as we go on NVDA. So we'll wait to see what that does. I'm really impressed, though, Neil, with IBIT. I mean, I don't know if you've seen.
Bitcoin is doing a job here at 105.
Yeah, so there it is, right? Yeah.
It's putting in work.
Almost $60 right here.
Yeah, well, Hey, I don't know exactly what 105 works out to on. It is what it is.
Calculator. Yeah, does someone have a website for that?
I
'Cause
keep
that would be
saying
kinda
that
cool,
I should,
wouldn't it?
that
There
I
must
should
be a
do that.
website.
Of 100%. And every time I think about it again, I always forget to look, because doing a conversion just makes it a little more simple for us to communicate with you guys there. And again, it doesn't really matter. The charts look absolutely identical. So in what is a shocking turn of events, which I'm sure anybody that looked at Palantir like 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, well, Palantir was at the low of the day. I kind of felt, and usually when this happens, I'm thinking it's relatively weak, so let it get to your price. Instead, it does decide to break away from 75 bucks. So it just took 75 a second time here, not playing the dip into VWAP. The initial failed break, I like dips into VWAP if they can hold, but there was never a bid here on Palantir at VWAP. It just never materialized. And then it came back above. You had to be really quick to grab that. But now the double top break on Palantir. This is not a blue sky setup. Palantir has already been here before. Let me give you a 15-minute chart. So this was 75 last time. The day before, 76.50 was lower high resistance. So I think that's a reasonable target. Scalp the first look into the $0.5, then 76, and then 76.5 here on PLTR. Apple is also at VWAP. That bears watching. And then a name that's been left for dead here, Tesla's back through 420. So Tesla is absolutely joining the party now above VWAP, holding on to that 420 level. This looks like it's on a bit of a charge. Let's see if we can put in a higher low as well. QBTS, we're still waiting for it to get to VWAP. It's about 25 cents away in a $6 stock. It can get there a lot faster than you think. So, like, I have this one up. If it does another push, there we go. It does another push into VWAP like it did before. Just going to continuously look for that curl on QBTS. As long as it holds that pattern of lower lows and lower highs, I still think it can be shorted up there. Adara, let's go to the small cap recap.
Yeah.
IWM, which had a great morning and generally pretty great day yesterday, is kind of struggling right now. We do have a bit of a rounded top on that 15-minute chart for the Russell 2000, which is actually down on the day when S&P 500 and NASDAQ are sharply green. We're going to start by looking at Accelera, ABCL. This one up sharply, but actually now falling a little bit. Could not find any news on this other than the fact that after the close yesterday, they announced they're going to be reporting their earnings on February 27th. So earnings date announcement for ABCL seems to be its catalyst to the upside with about a 7% short float. Then we have MCRB. This company's name is actually Ceres Therapeutics. It has nothing to do with the ticker. It is a penny stock. They've definitely rallied in the past. This is not its first rodeo, if you will. And it is also worth noting here for MCRB, a 20% short float. Last but not least here, we do have this MGX, Metagenomi. This one is super volatile. Keep an eye on MGX here, guys. About 11% short float for Metagenomi. No catalyst that I could find. Back to you.
There's a lot of names moving around a little bit.
Careful when there's no catalyst on
Yeah.
these things.
All right, just noticing here as we start tightening up, it's 10:21 right now. We'll start tightening up some of the trades. All right, so as I said here on Amazon, still $1.50 in the money, but at the end of the day, we're still bouncing here, and it doesn't look like it wants to take too much higher than this 235 area. So I'll give it a little bit of runway. I'm going to get out 235 teens. If it does come back up, we'll take our second last piece out. I might even take it out right now, but still, nice little move there for Amazon. Yeah, there goes Bitcoin again, back downside. So let's just have a quick look at Bitcoin itself, and then maybe we can even look at some of the coins, the altcoins, because like this is just on a 1 minute chart here on BTC. It's a nice move up there, and then boom, it just like crashed right there, like $800. I mean, I know that doesn't seem like, you know, that much, but still a decent move right back into the 50-period moving average again. 103.6, 103.5 seems to be the bottom. So if you're going to wait for that level there, then again, we talked about it. Joe, do you know a website that converts the IBIT price, Bitcoin price to IBIT price? Like, is there a website or no? No, okay, yeah, there isn't. Okay, well, we'll find them. They're probably, so if anybody knows one, let us know. But okay, so we're getting close to getting out of Amazon. I just want to call up IBIT just to find that price. So it'll be right down in here, $59 or so for IBIT will be that 103.5 level. So I think that would be something to look forward to, that trade coming up. I'm at 235.16, believe it or not. Like, I just saw 15 on the ask. So we just need one little more pump up to get that fill. You know, I'm not going to wait for that, though. I'll get something. See, like, we just missed it. This is what I'm saying about how crazy this time is to be a trader. So many great opportunities to scalp and to hold. Like, this has been absolutely fantastic. I can't get the smile off my face. Today's been a great day. What's up, Adara?
I did look into this. So, yes, as Joe said here, it looks like from what I'm seeing here, the conversion is roughly 1 share of IBIT is equal to 0.00056827 Bitcoin. I'm going to see if I can find a clear way to convert this. But the other thing, too, is it's not exactly going to be exact because funds, like IBIT in this case, are actually able to trade at a premium or a discount to the actual net asset value, in this case, Bitcoin. So it's not going to be exact because they're allowed to trade a little bit differently than the asset that they're supposed to represent. I think that's of note. But either way, that is kind of the story here for IBIT. Basically a fraction there of Bitcoin's price, guys. Back to you.
All right.
Thank you very much, Adara. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, important point. They don't have to trade exactly. So Palantir is continuing to go to the upside. I'm going to hit this, the Anthony Santander. And if you're wondering who he is the overpaid slugger for the Toronto Blue Jays, who I'm pinning all of my hopes on this year, that they can take us from potentially last place in the division to a respectable 500. On the season, because that's where my hopes and dreams are for that team. If we can get back in, like 76 and 76.5, we pointed out on a 15-minute chart, is going to be the target. I'm just going to do this where I draw a line right at that level, and then I can hit save. One of my favorite things about the platform is, you know, you go from the 15, and then it should mark it. No, it didn't. Well, not when we get there. If we get to 76.5, that's going to be the target zone. It's a very steep upward trend here on Palantir. So let's see it respect that trend. Unfortunately for Apple, it's not holding on to VWAP. But I'm just reminded what Palantir did, which was drop through VWAP, reclaim it with vigor, and then break out the top. It's not like Apple can't do it, but until you see something, like does it do like no green candles, no support here at that VWAP, there's no reason to be joining in on that. So just in Palantir, Nvidia does hold VWAP, so it's a little bit different. Gets back into this 146.5, which it already, what am I talking about? It's at 146.60 as we speak, so it broke 146.5. Gets them out, will continue to play off VWAP, but it still hasn't broken the lower high. So until you break the lower high, Nvidia is only up 4% and not as strong as some other names. Like I look over, okay, actually AMD's back off the high. So AMD, when I checked it last, it was making some fresh highs. So it's not distinctly different from AMD, but I mean compared to like ARM, would be the example. Nvidia is strong, but until you break that high of the day, the Nasdaq's above 22,000, almost 1.5% up, and Nvidia, this bounce is giving you 60, 70 pennies, which is fine, but you want Nvidia to be strong in that. So VWAP looking good, at least for now. And Daniel T says, look at SoFi, gladly. See, it's so much better looking at SoFi when it's in an uptrend than when you have to watch it at $7. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
down today, no? I think
yeah, SoFi is.
it is, okay.
Ooh, this doesn't, is this, how many days gapping up is this? Oh no, this was.
Oh no, what?
No, this is a really good, this is actually a really good open short setup. So, okay, so here's your breakout on, just to go over SoFi, there's your breakout on SoFi, day 1, break day 2, gap day 3, and then what happens, it's holding, gapping above the prior high on your 3rd continuation day or 4th, depending on how you want to look at it. And then it fails that high in the pre-market. I'm going to go to the 3-minute now. Fails that high in the pre-market, right there, a couple of times, and then right off the open, it dumps on through. So usually when you're taking a setup like that, you'd be short 17.99 or 98, and look at SoFi trending down. It's just when a stock runs multiple days, does a gap, cannot hold above that gap. Sometimes you look for a reversion play. It's only down 1%. That's not too bad at all for SoFi. It's a respectable pullback here for SoFi. And the good thing about that, you want this, in a long-term sense, you want that to happen because that means it's just not going parabolic up and then it'll dump 10, 15% in a day. If it can do this, hold on to like 17.5 here or even $17. Either one of those two levels close above and they look just fine to me. But yeah, SoFi down 1%. You can't go up every day. I don't care what you are.
No, I mean, that's a good, Yeah, 5 or 6 days in a row, right there
exactly.
for SoFi. So a good little level there to come into. We keep talking about crypto, but it keeps going one way. All right, there it is, man. We do take out that Amazon for that $1.70 as it comes up to 235.10. We said we had switched up our offer there on this name. We were at 235 teens. We just saw it bounce a couple times off of that level. So we said, okay, let's just get out there. And now we'll just hold on to very small pieces of both Nvidia, ARM, all three of them. The three trades that we were targeting from the jump. So far, so good on all of that. And now let's just look forward to see if there's anything else. Uber was a name that, we had bought this name into the 60s there again. It had some great support. We really liked Uber, and we still do. I keep saying we, but I still do. I've been liking Uber for a while. The thing is, it's not really acting that great. It's flat on the day right now for Uber. So I actually just got alert that we are underneath VWAP there. I don't really want to trade anything to the short side yet. I mean, I think breaking through this 22,000 would be a trade. So I'm going to look at the TQQs right now because, again, we had this banger of a trade on yesterday. Doesn't mean we can easily... You can never, I mean, we had 200 or 300 handles yesterday at that bottom. That was that move. And I got, it's too bad because I'd put there, and I'd said that earlier, that I was looking long. And I was actually, now that I see where this play is, I was actually going to break that pre-market high on the TQs. And that would have been a heck of a trade there. And it came right back into that level as well. So I just got sort of taken back from the short for from the long for some reason because we did have a little bit of an early dump there on the NASDAQ, so I wasn't sure. And then the market opened up and we absolutely blew up there. So play back to VWAP I really like, 87.50. So some of you were wondering about any futures plays. This is a good one right there. I mean, it's the breakout level. We tested it. We bounced back off VWAP. Then there was the breakout of it. We haven't retested, and now you have support of the over-under. So I like that level, 87.50 there for the TQQ. So if we ever get down to that, I think there could be a trade there. You're welcome, Trading by Ryan. That's what I would do. Or you know what? I mean, the real hero trade, like, if you want the bigger winners, it's this reversion right now because we had already talked about where we had gotten up to here of 22,000. We had put this trade on before you guys in the past where I had said, I called it up and I said, this is the area here where maybe we would consider a short back into the 50 period moving average. And I don't think we get that far down, but this would be an interesting spot for us today. The only problem is like Amazon, yes, Nvidia, yes, ARM, yes, but Netflix, right here, not a huge component. It's still up 11%, right? But it's not like a huge component of the NASDAQ or of the S&P 500. So you're always running into that, like, the NASDAQ can do its own thing here with Meta, as Adara brought to our attention before, like 630 for Meta. What is even the all-time high for Meta?
636 maybe?
Yeah, 638.50, so 638.40. So you're not even too far away from that either right now. So there's a lot of names helping bring this market up. It doesn't necessarily have to be the ones that had reported, but you get that early bump, and it looks like the NASDAQ wants to try to hold fort right now upside. So yeah, I like that dip buy opportunity, but realistically, if you want a big trade, you can go short against that high. Give yourselves 15 handles to try to bring that rate back to the downside. I'm going to hold off, man. We still have that, that magical number in our blotter right now where we're long ARM, and we're long Nvidia. So far, so good here. Remember where our ARM is? We're underneath that level now. We should have stopped out at 178.50. I'm still going to keep this in here for 170. Let's adjust this now. 176 break, we're out of ARM, okay? Remember we were going to use the 50 period. I was lazy there, and we didn't see it. So I'm thinking right now, maybe we should be getting even out of ARM soon as we've breached that 50 period moving average. So yeah, let's be careful with it and go up to the desk with the Dara.
Crypto on watch here. We still have Bitcoin hanging out near all-time highs. So making some higher lows from that base we had just below that $100,000. Even the day that we made those new all-time highs on the 20th, we actually did have a low of around 99,000. So that 99,000 area and above still holding us support with, as mentioned, slightly higher lows. We have some comments coming out of some of these bank CEOs at the World Economic Forum in Davos. CEO here of Goldman Sachs, David Solomon, saying that he actually does not think that Bitcoin is a threat to the US dollar, saying that he actually views it as a speculative asset in comparison to the US dollar. Interesting comments, though, because yesterday, as mentioned here on this segment, we did have the CEO of Bank of America here, Brian Moynihan, saying that he's of the opinion that actually he thinks that U.S. bank CEOs would have no problem here accepting crypto as a form of payment should regulators approve. So it seems like there's a little bit of a discrepancy here in some of the takes on some of these different bank CEOs on the role of crypto in the industry. Interesting stuff. Keep an eye on that. Also here, keep an eye on some of these other crypto names. Ethereum down about 0.5%, Bitcoin up about 0.5%, and XRP up about 1%. Other than that, though, some of these other crypto-related names actually making a bit stronger moves. Solana up 7.5%, Tron up 6.5%, Dogecoin down 3.5%. A little bit of discrepancy here between the different movements in these names, guys. Back to you.
I mean, I don't know about all you, but I'm
Look
trying to
at
get,
me, America.
That Tron coin. I'm trying to get that Trump coin. I'm trying to get everything.
Tron.
Right now. I don't know what's up with
For those who don't know, Tron is the world's richest man.
Yes.
And he won it at a hot hand at a dice game.
Yeah. And then he went to go buy a Cadillac or something, right?
That was great. Clackety, clackety, clack. No, but then everybody was buying Fubu stock that day.
Yeah, well,
that was
but I wasn't.
Give an idea how old that skid is.
Fubo stock.
I haven't looked at Fubo in a while, but actually, that should be interesting to look at because if it's not getting a relief rally, that might be a bit of a value play. Like everyone leaves it for dead. But Oracle, which I've left for dead because it can't get above 186. Like that was the level.
That was that magic.
Like, did I even like anything else on Oracle? Oh, come on. You got to be kidding me, Neil. For some reason, I have to look back and every now and then, like I got fixated with the pre-market low, but I wrote on my iPad 181 deep dip. But I'd have to look at a different chart as to why I even thought that. Yeah, like why would I have liked 181? I can't even. You look at the daily. Oh, I think I know. Yeah, I know why. Okay, that makes sense. That made sense. So gap fill on the high on this high, all-time high fail. 181 was the high there, so that actually made sense for a bit of a bottom. Well, that was a fail, but it's trying to get back into 186 in VWAP. And if it can do that, then I think very similar to Palantir's move, maybe look for a continuation bounce play. So I liked it over under that price. It's the same way. I mean, it feel kind of similar with Rigetti. Like I don't want any part of Rigetti when it's making lower highs and underneath 14. If it can hold the bottom and then do the roundy face to the upside and break 14 even, then we can go into the long. But as I look up, it just, like I didn't know Rigetti was going to do that at VWAP, and QBTS doesn't get to VWAP. So obviously, I might just need to just pay for Rigetti. All of a sudden, QBTS doesn't want to give you that VWAP trade anymore. So I'll probably just pay for Rigetti shares, shortable side in a second. Palantir now in threat of losing the trend, which is PLTR, not PTLR. Palantir could be losing the trend line. I'm just going to show you on the black chart because I've already got it right up for you guys. If we lose this trend since the bottom at 74, I'm trailing out. So if it breaks this prior bar candle, which is, I don't know, like pennies away right now, maybe like 10 cents away and change, then we're going to jump out of Palantir. Whether it gets to VWAP or not on a retrace or back into 75 doesn't necessarily matter. So Palantir, Nvidia, both of them starting to pull back. As the market, when it gets to 1.5%, you're doing a bit of a bull flag. We lose the trend, you want to get back in where you can. So I'm going to go pay for locates on Rigetti because that looks pretty structurally good. Not to say you have to short it, but if it keeps on making lower highs at VWAP, at some point there's a trade set up there. And if you don't pay for the shares to borrow, well, then you can't go short here at Real Trading.
Yeah, no, we said to be patient with Rigetti. I think that's going to be the right play there. So yeah, you have lots of time. 1350 right there for the spaghettied one. And we'll just wait to figure that out. ARM is making that move back again, so I feel like now we could almost use the 50 period as 178 as our outs. So we'll see if something develops from that as we go. So that would be a trade definitely for us to have a quick look at there. Some people in the chat talking a little bit about Intel, so let's go have a quick look at that. All right, so that got up to 22.15, huh? Okay, Intel, okay, I see you. Wow, all right, Amazon starting to extend out as well as this market continues to go higher, man. Amazon, what a great trade that was. I know Neil and I both had that one. Now $2 in the money. We are now $25 in the money. Like this market, as it continues to go higher, we have the right names on board. Like Nvidia, I know you had Palantir there, Amazon, ARM, Nvidia, like all names that have these catalysts that continue to work out for us. Intel could be another play down there. If you say this is get that garbage out of here at 21.75, then you do have a VWAP hold at 21.80. And again, your style is all that matters. If you're going to take 1 or 2 pennies, good on you. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of opportunities here to hold on to names like an Intel for a bigger move. And I was going to say, like, right there, if you go long at 85 and you use like 73 or 74, it's only 12 pennies. If you like the movement here to the upside, I think you can get a much bigger winner than what that is. For me, I'm going to wait off on Intel, though. I just saw some people talking about it there in the chat, so I wanted to have a quick look at that one. All right, Coinbase, SMR yesterday. Look, I like the space. We're in a good winner here. I don't necessarily want to get out of this, but it was giving us a little bit of a scare. We're only long at like 12.25 or something like that down there because we did miss that $10 bid. I can't believe we missed that. The next day I look over and like it was crazy. But anyways, we were able to buy some there, and then it really held that $17 mark, but now it's up to $25, $26. So we'll have to wait to see here. But $28 to $30 for SMR. If we ever get anything up there, I mean, it might be a trimming spot. I mean, I'm really glad that we didn't get anything out basically in this whole run up of Palantir. Nice to see it back to like 75, 76 bucks. Maybe we can trim some of that one, but I still think Palantir has a huge runway as well for the rest of the year. So, I mean, you're getting all these things just randomly pop up about Oracle, about OpenAI, about C3AI, not C3AI, but, you know, ARM, Oracle, OpenAI. You know, something can come with Palantir easily. And when that happens,
defense spending.
Then, yeah, defense spending. Like, all Trump needs to do is, you know, a picture of him and Alex Karp having lunch together there, and I think the stock absolutely rips. And I just, you know, I really like it. 76 bucks. I mean, great long that you had there. And again, the space seems to work right now for Palantir. So I would, this is going to be a name to dip by anything for PLTR. I think that VWAP trade was a great one there. We didn't get anything out down here. In fact, we didn't buy anymore, but we had talked about it as one of our plays there just a couple days ago. That, you know, I think we're long like 64, 65 on that spreadsheet. So it's a nice move back up to the upside, almost 20% in like a week and a half for PLTR. So again, what was beat up ain't no more as Palantir is starting to head back to the upside there. Tesla, Baba, DraftKings.
The thing about defense spending and cutting defense spending is lots of people talk about cutting defense spending in the U.S., but it doesn't actually happen. And that's to any real extent. And so I think you get buying opportunity. Anytime people start talking about cost cutting and defense spending, you get buying opportunity in all of those stocks, to which Palantir now belongs to that group, whether we're talking in whatever. You guys know what's up. But let's go. What's interesting about today is the NASDAQ is so incredibly strong, but there's a lot of other names out there that are booming. Like you mentioned some of the nuclear names. You've got some utilities that are doing pretty well.
Nuclear names are booming. I see what you did there.
Well, I tried.
Nice.
Hopefully you never want those actual to go boom, boom. But let's go to Adara and go for Sector Watch. Go oil?
Go oil, yeah, why not?
We do have here, as Neil mentioned, it's pretty clear why that NASDAQ is outperforming the S&P 500. And that's because pretty much all the strength that we have is in tech, more specifically in this tech services sector. Microsoft, Meta, Google, Netflix, Oracle, all sharply to the upside. With the exception of Netflix, all of these names mostly have AI-related catalysts as well. We know Meta reportedly investing in Databricks, according to CNBC, and then Oracle, Microsoft here, both embroiled in that Project Stargate-related catalyst. Satya Nadella here, I'm also currently seeing comments coming through from his CNBC interview here at Davos, so keep an eye on that as well. But basically, Oracle and Microsoft certainly both in play to the upside with that catalyst in mind. The $500 billion investment over 4 years into AI infrastructure in the U.S. Electronic technology, in contrast, is not as strong. Nvidia, which was also implicated in that story, is doing pretty well, but Apple kind of holding back a little bit, guys. Amazon bringing up retail trade, but other than that, the sector's pretty red. Finance is red. Energy minerals, pretty red. Utilities, bright red here. There is a little bit of outperformance here. CEG trying to hold up, but the rest of these names pretty weak, despite the fact that Vistra, VST, was actually implicated in the Oracle and Project Stargate catalyst because they're going to start investment in Texas, where Vistra is based. We do have health services weak, industrial services weak, health technology a little bit mixed. J&J to the downside on earnings, bringing this group down. But generally, if you're not a tech name, the chances of you being strong on the day are a little bit lower, guys.
Certainly true. And to go from Vistra right into a super chat, actually, because too much sauce, not sure that's even possible as long as it's a really good sauce, especially a hot sauce. Thank you for the super chat in here. It's very timely. You mentioned, can you please look at Constellation Energy? Well, in the list of stocks that are breaking out 52-week or all-time highs today, add Constellation to it. I'll get into a bit of a reason why. Vistra clearly getting a move here, as mentioned, because of that Stargate deal, whatever, 500. That's just a massive number. No, but obviously that's getting a bounce, and then it's bringing a couple of names up with it. One of them is going to be Constellation. It's still in a bit of a chop zone, only now breaking out the high. It's been in a slow stair step to the upside. The other name in this group of sort of like nuclear utility type names where you get that exposure, and in general utility energy names, is GE Verona, which I like. So this is what happened on GE Verona today. It dumped on earnings, and anytime you dump on earnings and this is the response when the market opens up, that's generally strong. So Vistra upside because the deal yesterday. I think you're getting GEV, a bit of a pull up here, GEV and Constellation, along with Vistra, and then the market still indicating that they like to buy up the stock. Even not a great report all around in GEV. Like there were some, you could poke some holes in it if you really wanted to. But still a strong day for that entire group. Gotta love them there. And yeah, I love it. Apple is, Stoic Sobriety. Love the name in the chat, by the way. Yeah, Apple is, for now, a bit of a dog. It's not completely dead to me yet. I still think it has a bit of an opportunity. Remember what Palantir kind of did here, where it made the bottom, broke through VWAP upside, kind of challenged the top break, didn't do it, then broke under VWAP, was able to regain it. Looked weak, was able to regain it, and then trended to the upside. Well, what's to say Apple is done with that yet? Just give it a chance maybe to set up. It's got the higher low going. You can still press through VWAP and find some higher lows into the high of the day here. That's a $120, from there to the top. So I think that's capturable. As long as this low doesn't break and the market's still going, Apple's got an opportunity. I'm going to continue to have it up, but it's got to set up. You're going to run out of time at some point that will continue to go there on Apple. I don't know if we'll get Nvidia down here at VWAP one more time, but it's giving you a range here, 145, 75. So maybe look at VWAP here, which is 146 even, into the 147 on Nvidia. That's the last one that I am in and looking for some kind of a reload. Oracle is doing a similar move where it's trying to hold. You get some higher lows in Oracle, can't really hold above VWAP either, but it's getting there. I think the chance for the relief rally to fill in some of the gap is starting to come in there on Oracle, but I don't want to jump the gun yet. You're seeing it resist VWAP. So that's good in that it's bouncing toward VWAP, but it's still sellers at and underneath. That's a sign of weakness currently for Oracle. Needed to break out this local top, put in a lower high, or a higher low, and then you can work back into the long for Oracle. But not yet, and I think not yet on Apple either.
Yeah, good call there on some of these names. Like I was saying, I might just put on, it's a little bit of a risk here, but I think the TQs in and around this area, it just came up to that level. I just, to try to put something on. We have some of these longs. We don't want to give up on the long either. The high of the day right now is 88.30. We just bounced off here a little bit. I don't know. Netflix broke the low of the day. There is a possibility here to get something in and then be able to sort of wait for it. So let's just try to see if we get something here, 13s, 14s against that high. This is going to be a really, really quick stop out, man. 88.30s or so for this. We've already identified it. We called out a little bit of a longer time frame for this trade. And yeah, so far so good. So let's just put in a stop. We'll get a little bit more, a little bit higher, but 88, 41s or so. Give ourselves about... And what I'm looking at is that's the high. So we don't want to just come up there and then test it and get stopped out immediately. Well, let it make a new high, really. It's not even that high if it gets up to 88.41. And then the reason why we sort of try to, and again, I think this is the most important thing to talk about, again, is where your stops are in relationship to the amount of shares that you have. And like, I'm not going to put on like 1,000 shares here and then lose like whatever, the 200 or whatever bucks on the upside just because I think it's going to be a trade. You know, you don't want to do all that work this morning with Nvidia, ARM, all these trades that actually make sense to you only to go over here and put away something that maybe doesn't. So we'll take one more average in there. And then what I'm looking for is like outs in this area here. So right where we sort of consolidated, maybe something at 87. But again, we're not trading this like a stock where key levels, like individual prices will mean something, because this is going to trade with the NASDAQ. So as this looks like it wants to take out the highs here, we're pretty comfortable with it. I mean, we're short now at 20s, 19s, and you know, 20 cents worth of risk to get us into where I think we could go. I think probably worth it now. We have a little bit of a hedge as we're long everything else, but at the end of the day, you know, you want your last trade to work out. So that one would be really nice. ARM at not all-time highs, at day's high right now. I am adjusting this stop. I mean, this ARM trade with $2 worth of risk is now $22 in the money. So we've been taking it out, obviously. That's 179.50. All right, that's the break, man. 179.50. If it breaks there, I've canceled my other offer, my other request to get out, and that's going to be my new one. So stop order initiated there on ARM. Stop order initiated on the Qs, which hopefully will come back in for us. We'll put some bids down here around $88. I said $87, but $88. And then if we do dip into 87, 80, or 90, that would be sort of the target. So yeah, man, it's very, very possible that we could be breaking the high of the day pretty soon. So
All-time high isn't far.
Of what? No, of all markets. I know.
No. On ARM. ARM is
189.
Yeah, 189.
Yeah.
So like it's actually, I mean, Freudian slip, whatever, but the number of stocks breaking the all-time high today, or 52-week highs, is rather numerous. So there's this, I might have missed the story on BLBX because the only small caps I've been looking at today were the quantum names. But BLBX is somehow, like I just pulled it up and was like, yo, it's about to halt. Like it just broke $4, broke the high of the day. I swear it looked like it was about to halt up here at about 480. So it might have just pressed to the halt band and pulled back a little bit. But how this hasn't halted once today, from 280 double bottom to holding VWAP, and a couple of very aggressive 15, 20% moves here on BLBX, 170% to the upside. This is now looking a little bit different than before. So just load. Going back, this $4 breakaway is a very key one. Just watch out. It keeps on zooming out. $5. $5 is just as significant a level as 4 was. So 425 makes a lot of sense why it would have possibly checked up here at the 5 level. If it can hold on to 4, maybe regroup for another run at that high. At this time of day, I never want to buy it. You never want a top break. Well, I don't like a top break at 11 o'clock on any kind of a small capper. Let everyone else do it, and then you just try to buy the dip when it runs back into the high. Let's go to Adara. Time to see how strong that Canadian dollar is.
We do have the DXY up here, as we mentioned yesterday, breaking below the lower end here of this uptrend. As of right now, trying to hold a little bit of support here around that previous support level of 107.80s, but this looks a little bit like either head or shoulders, a bit of a rounded top here. There's clearly some resistance around that 110 level for the DXY. Now, in terms of some news here, we have Larry Fink of BlackRock forecasting a possibility for prolonged, quote, elevated inflation. So basically the idea that it is going to take a little bit longer than expected to get rates to the downside. We know yesterday we talked about the fact that the CME FedWatch tool is pricing in a 99.5% chance that we will not have a rate cut or a hike, that rates will remain the same at the next meeting. So only 0.5% of participants expecting a cut. Not a great look here. That does basically suggest here that we are going to have at least what people are expecting here, rates for a little bit longer. Also here, we do have comments from Donald Trump coming out with regards to tariffs that I think are of note here, saying that taxes, tariffs, and sanctions will be targeting anything being sold by Russia to various other participating countries. And then also keep an eye here on some of these energy names and oil names, because Trump is saying, if we don't make a Ukraine deal soon, the U.S. will put high levels of tariffs, taxes, and sanctions on anything sold by Russia. Just keep an eye on some of these plays here, guys, as the DXY tries to hold support. We can take a look at this CAD as well, because it was mentioned. Yeah, this is the Canadian dollar, the USD on the daily chart. I would call that a bear flag. We're kind of continuing to consolidate, though slightly higher lows are being made here for the Canadian dollar against the DXY. Make sure to like and subscribe.
All right. Neil, man, we're showing the versatility one more time of the show. There goes the TQQs. So we have 3 trades all early, and now we put on another one right now. Let me get it some more out here at O's. There it is. O1s we just got there, actually. Nice drip in. It's a 1-to-1 trade right now. So we're starting to get a little bit out here as we got to go get our little swim game on there. If we can get some more fills in and around here, then we'll just do that, and then we'll let the rest ride. That way we're playing with house money at the end of the day. There it is. And if the market goes back to the downside, then so be it right now. So far, so good, man. I hope you guys got that trade on right there on the futures. So some of you wait around for the futures plays, and there's one of them right now. Good couple levels there. We are out of 40% right now. We got that low 90 fill. We got a 92 fill. So that was a really good one there. 94, sorry. So that was a good fill for us on the triple Qs. So now we'll just wait to see if we're going to be able to get anything else, hopefully to the downside. We talked about where we were looking to get out, so that's exactly what we did. And now we'll wait for a little bit lower, man. I mean, we can get another fill down here in the low 80s would be pretty nice, and then we'll wait for 87, 60 or so, putting this one right in the pocket, right where we need it to be. So you just saw Neil with Mara, so we've been trading some crypto, some equities, and so on and so forth. But right now, it's the futures trade rifling up the board here is the TQQs.
UAL, just some news here. I think the conference call for UAL is this morning, or he's talking somewhere. But Nvidia broke trend, so very simple. There is a trend off VWAP. It broke this lower high support, so I jump out of the trade. Looking for, I said money fills underneath VWAP because that's what happened before. I'm kind of thinking we can get something underneath 146 with the same support at 145.75. Going to leave the stop in there. Just went for a VWAP short on Mara. I think, I like Mara to the short side. Bitcoin's underneath the 105, so I went VWAP short. The other place is right up at this top hit here at 19.5. So I want 2 looks here on Mara. Either we're going to short it underneath VWAP, and I'll do it again if it comes back under, or we wait for that 19.5. It's relatively weak compared to Bitcoin, which we're still going to be looking at IBIT here. But as we get back above VWAP, do not want to hold it through that level. If you're trading off VWAP, I want to respect it and get back in if it wants to push back under. Dara has news.
I do here, and it's on Himax Technologies, HIMX. This company being mentioned here by Ming-Chi Kuo, who is a supply chain analyst, opining mostly here about Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, saying that Himax is, according to his analysis, emerging as key AI upstream winner, linking it to TSM's COOP, which is basically silicon photonics. So they're seeing some growth visibility here for 2026 to 2028. Great note here from Ming-Chi Kuo, pushing this one slightly to the upside, at least getting that volume spike. There's also the BLBX. It's interesting. This one had a pre-market catalyst, but nothing to explain this most recent surge that I could see. I didn't see this coming up on any of my scanners as well for news. But basically here, when I looked into it, 8:30 this morning. So I guess around this kind of action. Again, not a huge reaction when it was announced. They did say that basically they're securing a $250,000 purchase agreement, and they are, I guess, anticipating a potential merger. So they do have a float here, 1.85 million shares. 10% of that is going to be sold short. But it's worth noting this 250,000 securities purchase is not super significant here when you think of the market cap of $14.6 million. Worth noting that they only have about 61,000 in cash currently. So BLBX, guys, again, 10% short float.
All right, thank you, Adara. Hit the sirens up over here. It's continuously happening, and we're liking everything about trading these days. There goes the futures, man. Another banger for you to go cuatros today. And it's just been a big day. I keep saying that. I don't how your day's fine, obviously, as we go. And RGTI people. Okay, so Rigetti coming into my level. Rigetti is. I don't know if you're on this name or not, but it's coming into 1250 right now. We had wrote down that we like Rigetti there at 1250. So watch out now. Here comes Rigetti down to 1250 again.
Well, it's the other stock is QBTS. Its support is at 590. It's like $6. It's just. Support's at like $5.90 something, but $6 will just round down to it. The other thing that's happening is you're getting a pullback into VWAP on Nvidia and Amazon. We got 2 minutes to go here, so let's just line a few things up. Amazon It broke out VWAP, then it broke out 233. Now VWAP would be 233.5. So I think if it gets any lower, I got to take a shot at it. And then Nvidia is at VWAP as we speak. So trail out of it, get rid of that wick a little bit later. That's not real. Trail out of it, but now it's starting to hold on to VWAP here on NVDA. Oracle, for the first time, it just crept above VWAP. Oh, it's battling underneath. Damn you, Oracle. So there we go. Like it closed above, trying to break out. What's with that wick too? Trying to break back above. And then, yeah, the red's starting to come back in. So Oracle looked like it was going to hold on to VWAP. Maybe needs to break back above 185.5, reclaim the 186. Still a little bit early to try to get back into Oracle, unfortunately. So we're looking at Nvidia right now as it's on the other side of holding on to its VWAP bounce. Market's still looking good. You're 22,000 to 2205. Like, to me, if you lose 22,000, I don't want to be on the bid of these VWAP stocks, with maybe the exception of Amazon, because Amazon's kind of built different today. Like it's whatever, you guys can see the chart, right? Like it's so far away from VWAP that you could hold well above it on that 22,000 could break, and Amazon could still be well above that VWAP target. As I said on Mara, if it wicked out and goes back underneath VWAP, I just jump back in. So it came to VWAP, broke, came back under, got 18s, and we'll play it into the local bottom of 19 even. Just a bit of a refresher from yesterday on Mara. The lows, 1870. On the 15-minute, you get to 19. If it breaks the low, targeting 1860 is an out. Oh, we got a super chat that we missed. Sorry, Nessa, for missing your super chat. Appreciate you for the 20. We appreciate all our viewers. All you got to do, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and share with your friends. Neil Adair and Sean Katina, thank you for always keeping the morning show entertaining and full of great knowledge. Love you guys and gals. We love you too, Nessa. You repeat that saying, it's okay to be wrong, not to stay wrong. It's a true one. When it works, the best thing about it is it works on multiple time frames. It's true when you're day trading, it's true when you're swing trading, it's true when you're investing. Usually price is not going to be wrong. Ball don't lie when it comes to price action. If a stock is trending down, you don't need to be fighting it forever. Take your shots at it. But eventually, just look at the TAN ETF if you need to be reminded of something like that. It's okay to take a shot, but when the election goes the other way, it doesn't work out for those solar names.
By the way, guys, what happened? Yeah. Man, what happened? She's like, what happened? Okay, so right now, it's 50 handles. We have the short of, let's see. We just put that short on. We tweeted it out as well. And as Neil said, man, thank God it's okay to be wrong, because trading is a very, very tough game. And most traders will obviously fail. We talk about that, so that's why risk management is of utmost importante. So there it goes, man. What a great day it's been here today. Thank you so much for everybody for watching. Yeah, not much else to talk about right now. It's 4 for 4. They're all on here, and we discussed that. And I want to thank everybody for all the kind words, man. We did also discuss, obviously, the short in the futures. We based it out for you. We gave you a 20-cent. If you come over here, just come to the chart just real quickly here. We gave you a 20-cent stop out right there. So we gave that to you, and now it's 55 cents now in the money, almost a 3-to-1 right there. So real sees real, and we see you, and we'll see you guys at 2 o'clock over the big guys. Ciao.
Peace.
We did it.
Yes, yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to